If you've ever hit three bets back to back to back from Saturday going into Sunday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook as we kick off a new week. And I got to be honest with you, there's just no chill in kicking off the new week. It is just all gas, no brakes here today. We've got an AMD OpenAI deal that's causing the market to trade up. Futures are green. Ondas getting a $12 price target. We got Rip City all over the place. Big interview coming here on DPRO. We're going to talk to the CEO, Cameron Chell, this morning. It is going to be a good day and a good week. Playoff baseball resumes. Monday Night Football tonight. These are the good times, folks. These are the good times. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Monday edition for October 6th, starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. And listen, I really hope that y'all had a good weekend. My weekend was excellent. And I hope that y'all had a good weekend because it looks like this week is going to start off with a bang. I hope that you're all rested and ready to go because it waits for nobody. The market waits for nobody. And we're starting early here on a Monday with some pretty good news and some pretty awesome movement in some of these stocks. So it's so crazy. I'm losing my train of thought here. We're going to go ahead and break it down. First of all, Peter, good morning. Peter is first today, folks. Peter, good morning. I think from Colorado. You are first here today. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Zach McCracken, good morning. Ondas price target raised to 12 by Wainwright. Ryan, please check Ondas with the Petrino Weekly. Thanks. We will definitely do that when we take a look at Ondas here. I know drones are going to be in focus here today. So we'll be sure to take a look at that. We'll do some charting on all of that. Nice to see it trading up here. Also see Ondas successfully prices a $425 million stock and warrant sale above market price. I got to be honest with you, that is not surprising given how this stock has moved. I'm unsurprised to see that. That's basically just pulling it back to the VWAP. We're still set to open 70 cents above the close, even with that stock and warrant news. So crazy things continue here. Reaching Financial Freedom, good morning. Welcome back. Antonio Miller, good morning. Welcome back. Graf, good morning. Welcome back. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Candace, good morning. Sun-Kissed Yogi, good morning. EKS, good morning. EKS got a lot of green arrows there in the market, it looks like, huh? Big Bees says, oh my God, AMD. Yeah, Big Bees. Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Unreal. Good morning, Marty. Kevin, good morning. Neville, good morning. Producers always locked in. You know that. Glass half full, good morning. Neville, good morning. I don't know what JM repeated over and over and over means, but good morning. It's good to see you again. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. It's always good to see you. Durkus, good morning. Welcome back. Chuck, welcome back. Day Trader, it's good to see you. Day Trader, we had Bitcoin trading higher over the weekend too. I know I'm talking here about drones in the regular market, but Bitcoin hit 125K. Actually, looking at the futures here, it pulled back over the weekend, but the futures here have Bitcoin hitting a high of 125,500 here in the pre-market. Remember, I opened a new position last week, a swing position on ETHA via December calls. That's trading higher here today. A lot of good stuff here. Day Trader, welcome back. It's good to see you as always. JJ, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Lost Penny, good morning. Welcome back. Bernhard, welcome back. White Chocolate Mocha's locked in. Big Dave is locked in. Rooster is locked in. Christian, good morning. Yes, that girl. Happy Monday, folks. Happy Monday. Yes, that girl. Welcome back. Zabeth, welcome back. Harley, good morning. Raffle, good morning. Cam, good morning. Ryan, good morning. Maverick, it's good to see you again. Unpopular Truth, welcome back. Good to see you again. Locked in for another week here. Supri, good morning. Bobby, good morning. Facundo, good morning. Mark, Good morning. Brandy and Jim, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, Jay Grant, and Tori, good morning. Catherine, Ed, Lambo Rolls, good morning. Welcome, my friend. Indeed. John, good morning. Asan, welcome back. Rivian, good morning. Another all-time high in Bitcoin. Indeed. Seahorse Trading, good morning. Boy, we got a lot of early birds here today, and I absolutely love to see it. Day Trader says, I added a bunch of stuff to the digital asset treasury spreadsheet. There we go. Remember, Day Trader doing work here for the rest of the group. Be sure to smash up the like for our guy who's always out here trying to do work. Let's go. Tennis is life. Good morning. Here we go. Let's start with the stock market today. All right, as mentioned, green arrows across the board ahead of Monday's open here for October 6th. S&P futures up 0.4% here today. Dow futures up 0.22%, and the NASDAQ leading the way higher, plus 0.86%, almost a full percent in the green here in the pre-market. Let's take a look at some cues from last session. Sectors posting the biggest gains on Friday included utilities, healthcare, and financials, while consumer discretionary and communication services bucked the trend to close lower. U.S. stocks still settled mostly higher. All three major indices recorded gains for the week, with the S&P 500 advancing around 1.1%, with the 30-stock Dow also jumping 1.1%. Due to the shutdown, the Bureau of Labor Statistics failed to publish its monthly jobs report, so markets leaned heavily on private data, pointing to the labor market softening. The ADP employment report showed the largest private sector job loss in over 2 years, and the ISM Services PMI recorded its fourth consecutive month of contraction in its employment component. The federal government shutdown will continue at least another day into this week after Senate procedural vote failed again on Friday. The measure did not secure the 60 votes needed to advance, with only 54 senators voting in favor. It looks like we need 6 more, and I believe the next vote will come today. Meanwhile, Bitcoin broke 125K per coin to set a new all-time high, with trading volume more than doubling in the last 24 hours to a whopping $76 billion. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.14%, and the 2-year bond yielded 3.57%. All right, now before we check out some insights from analysts, we are, of course, going to start with the SPY chart. Let me go over to it here. This is AMD, which we're definitely going to talk about pretty soon here, but we're going to start with the SPY chart. Here's what it looks like. So we are still, in effect, trading sideways above the all-time high breakout level that we were watching for several weeks. That value, 667.34. We are holding here at 671.80 in the pre-market. This sure looks like this is going to try and take out the all-time high that we put in on Friday. That value, 672.68. Now, a lot of these, we'll see if we get a little bit of a pull before the market opens here. That's exactly what we got on Friday. On Thursday, we got a little bit of a ramp before the market pulled right at the open before finishing about flat or slightly green. So we'll see what kind of action there is here today. But so far, especially with the AMD Open AI news, sure looks like the market is going to try and trade higher here. It is telling you it does not care about the government shutdown. We gave you a bunch of stats for that last week. And there just continues to be more positive news flow that drives things higher here. So still looking at 667.34 as a potential support area to the downside if we're not able to push forward here, or if we have any type of reversal. Frankly, I wouldn't even be surprised if we peaked above the 672.68 and then pulled back for some reason. Too difficult to tell where we're going to close here, but just be prepared for movement in either direction here today, as it's likely to be a volatile one. Let's go ahead and take a look at some insights from analysts. Then we'll dive into the AMD story. The ongoing government shutdown, which commenced at the start of the month, is now predicted by Polymarket to extend well into October, with a significant 70% probability of lasting until October 15th or even later. Remember, it's the duration of the shutdown that tends to be important. While the market seems to be shaking it off now, I don't think that there's many folks that want this to continue for very long. That's when we're going to start to see some negative effects. Charlie Bello, chief market strategist at Creative Planning, highlighted this looming prospect in a recent X post in a detailed video. And for anyone that wants that, that will be included here in the article. In a detailed video accompanying his post, Bello explained, quote, the majority saying it's going to last to October 15th or later, underscoring the betting market's bearish outlook on a swift resolution. Despite the political gridlock, Bello also offered a nuanced perspective on the shutdown's potential impact on financial markets and public benefits. Addressing widespread fears, he reassured that essential services like Social Security would remain unaffected. Historically, government shutdowns have had a surprisingly benign effect on the stock market, Bello noted. Quote, more often than not, the stock market has actually been higher during the government shutdown, so really no impact whatsoever, end quote. And so far, I want to stress so far, that's exactly what we've seen here. He cited the 2018 shutdown, which we've also cited on this program several times, which lasted 35 days, that's the longest one, and saw the S&P 500 rally 10%, as a testament to investors' tendency to look past temporary political disruptions. Meanwhile, entrepreneur and investor Anthony Pompliano stirred a debate on Sunday by comparing the performance of the S&P 500 stock index to that of Bitcoin. In an X post, Pompliano stated that despite the S&P 500 surging over 100% since January of 2020, the index has actually fallen 88% when evaluated against Bitcoin, citing data from the Opening Bell daily newsletter. Quote, Bitcoin is the hurdle rate. If you can't beat it, you have to buy it, end quote. That comes from Pompliano, suggesting that the apex cryptocurrency has crossed the benchmark required to be considered a viable investment. At this point now, I mean, I think it's extremely clear that it is a viable investment. I think we've seen that here. I think in our morning show here, we probably have a lot of folks that are on the same side of this. It does seem to me that we're kind of picking up some of the stragglers. And I don't know how long that effect is going to last. I do think there's probably more upside as long as more people are joining the fold here. Just my 2 cents on it. Here's some stuff to keep an eye on this week. Again, with the shutdown here, some of this might change, but here's what I've got for you so far. Today, we're going to have Jeff Schmid, the Kansas City Fed president. He's going to speak at 5 after the market closes today. On Tuesday, the August U.S. trade deficit will be delayed because of the government shutdown. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic will speak at 10, and Fed Reserve Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman will speak at 10:05. Federal Reserve Governor Stephen Miran will speak at 10:45 and again at 4:05. Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari will speak at 11, and August's consumer credit data will be out by 3. On Wednesday, the St. Louis Fed President Alberto Musalem will speak at 9:20. Federal Reserve Governor Michael Barr will speak at 9:30 and then later again at 5:45. Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari will speak again at 3:15, and Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee will speak at 7:15. All of these times Eastern, by the way. The minutes of the Fed's September FOMC meeting will be out by 2 p.m. On Thursday, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will speak at 8:30. Initial jobless claims data for the week ending October 4th will be delayed due to the ongoing government shutdown, and wholesale inventories will be released at 10. Fed Reserve Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman will speak again at 8:30 and later at 3:45, and Kashkari and Barr will speak at 12:45. And San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly will speak at 4 and then later again at 9:40. Okay, I hope you guys wrote that down because there will be a quiz coming later today to determine whether or not you can join tomorrow. Of course, I'm just kidding. But even with the government shutdown, we are going to have a bunch of Fed heads talking about what's going on. All right, let's get to the big story here. Let's get to AMD. We'll start with the chart. We'll dive into the press release itself, and then I want reactions from the group here. I think more than anything else, I definitely want reactions from the group. Here's what the chart looks like. And first of all, we're going to start off with register rings because if you had AMD over the weekend, I'm assuming, based on our discussion last week, you didn't necessarily know this was coming, although you felt that there could be some pretty good potential tailwinds here. Look at this move on AMD. If we back out a little bit more here, someone was I think it was Zach talking about the Mark Petrino effect on a weekly chart for Ondas. Look at AMD. We are about to retest all-time highs from March of 2024. Look how close we are. In fact, the actual value that I have there, let's find it there. 20, come on, chart. Give me a break and let me read the damn number. 227.30 is going to be your all-time high here. AMD holding up here at 220.31. Look at this pop here, taking us above this recent high, the potential double top that goes back to July of 2024. All of that stuff has been deleted. Sites now set at that 227 handle. I understand we're pulling back just a little bit here, still holding higher by about 33%. Now, the news, what's going on here with AMD? AMD and OpenAI announced a strategic partnership to deploy 6 gigawatts of AMD GPUs. This stuff is all news to me here, so I'm just kind of going through the press release here. Across multiple generations of AMD Instinct GPUs, the first 1 gigawatt deployment of AMD Instinct MI450 GPUs is set to begin in the second half of 2026. So we're actually going to get another one of these GPU upgrades later next year. Under this definitive agreement, OpenAI will work with AMD as a core strategic compute partner to drive large-scale deployments of AMD technology, starting with the AMD Instinct MI450 series and rack-scale AI solutions and extending to future generations. So it's not just for this chip. They're also looking to expand with future chips as well. Just really, really bullish press release here. By sharing technical expertise to optimize their product roadmaps, AMD and OpenAI are deepening their multi-generational hardware and software collaboration that began with the MI300X and continued with the MI350X series. This partnership creates a true win-win for both companies, enabling very large-scale AI deployments and advancing the entire ecosystem. Quote here from Lisa Su, quote, "We are thrilled to partner with OpenAI to deliver AI compute at a massive scale. The partnership brings the best of AMD and OpenAI together to create a true win-win, enabling the world's most ambitious AI build-out and advancing the entire AI ecosystem." Sam Altman said this partnership is a major step in building the compute capacity needed to realize AI's full potential. He goes on to say AMD's leadership in high-performance chips will enable us to accelerate progress that brings the benefits of AI to everyone faster. Huge, huge move here for AMD. Again, still holding higher here by about 33%. I can't wait to get the opinions from the group here. And more specifically, I cannot wait to see if this takes out the 227 and up to 230 here today or in the near future. Let me know. Let me know what you folks think about this. Really quick, Unpopular Truth said this is an insane move in AMD since May. You're not kidding. I mean, if we were to even look back a little bit more, Unpopular Truth, and we were to look at the Liberation Day low when the world was coming apart and everyone was worried about all this tariff stuff and hyperinflation and all of that stuff, AMD printed a low in the 70 handle. It's $220 today. Just, you want to talk about an insane move. I completely concur. A lot of this stuff is insanity. And I get it. You know, I get a lot of people being worried about this, but man, oh man. Well, it's going here. Not a fun short to be in, right? Not a fun short to be in at all. Hockey player says, I got an AMD bag. Well, if you're a hockey player, you're familiar with big bags because the hockey equipment bag is gigantic. Let me know which one is bigger, the AMD bag or the one that you carry your equipment around in. Mark says, if this keeps going, I'll be at break even. Okay. Hopefully you'd be up by that. That's a swipe at Microsoft, by the way. I think we will hit 230 today in AMD. Okay, let's see. Stress Relief 9X. AMD's GPU architecture allows for basically infinite scaling when it comes to the actual chip. It's genius for OpenAI. Interesting insight there. Oh, man. Cam says this sounds super positive for OpenAI and AMD. This could become the new bottom for AMD. Lot of look, I definitely want to see how this ends up holding out today. I'm curious if anyone is actually thinking about taking a short here. I'm certainly not, but I'm just curious to see what the group is thinking. I don't have a position in AMD, and yeah, of course, I wish I did. Look at this. Here's the impulse move from the news. We're actually already on our second leg up. Here we go. AMD CEO Lisa Su also expects the deal with OpenAI to be highly accretive to revenue growth and earnings. That would be great for this company long term and going forward. This is the big news here. We're seeing a lot of other stuff trade up with this. We're going to very quickly check in on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is actually down a little bit on this. How about that? NVIDIA's had its day in the sun, reaching a new all-time high last week. SMH, the ETF that tracks the semiconductors that we've both been looking at and trading. Look at this. Looks like a new breakout here, 345, up 2.5% in the pre-market here ahead of the open. And then for any of you folks that actually wanted to kind of go along with this or follow along with this, here you go. We do have an article. This is fresh off the presses in here. Sorry, producer. Sorry to double it up. A lot of explanations on what's going on with some other links in here to some of the supporting stories. So really good stuff there. This is definitely the big news here so far of the morning. All right. Let's keep rolling along. Next, we're going to start with Apple. Might as well check how Apple is doing here today. Apple holding higher by about 0.25%. Remember, we did actually have a trend line here that represented a target about 260s, low 260s there. Sure looks like Apple is going to try and make a move towards that. We'll see here. Do have some news on this. Apple gears up for an executive shakeup. Who's ready for this? Sorry, needed a sip of tea there. The news flow is so crazy. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, in his latest Power On report, revealed that the tech giant Apple is set to witness a series of departures from its executive team, including CEO Tim Cook. Now, this is important because we had been talking recently, would Apple be considered a buy, or would you be more bullish on Apple if Tim Cook left? I can't remember what the exact results of that poll were, producer, but I'm pretty sure the majority was that yes, if Tim Cook did leave the company, that would actually be bullish for Apple. Now you're starting to get a report that not only would it be Tim Cook, but there might be others looking to leave as well. The first move came from Chief Operating Officer Jeff Williams, who stepped away from his operations duties in July and is slated to leave the company by the end of the year. Uncertainty surrounds the future of John Giandrea. I always mess up his name. I'm sorry about that, John. I'm trying. Head of artificial intelligence, whose department challenges have prompted Apple to scout for a new AI leadership externally. Johnny Sarugi, who heads the hardware technologies group, is also contemplating his future at the company. Potential successors for these key roles include Zongjen Chen and Sri Santhanam, who are in charge of the modern group of main device processors, respectively. Lisa Jackson, who spearheads Apple's eco-friendly initiatives, also hinted at retirement. However, the most notable change may be the exit of Tim Cook, the CEO, who's turning 65 next month. John Turnus, the current hardware engineering chief, is the front runner to succeed Cook. So let me stop there. What in the event, let's just take the hypothetical out here. Let's say Tim Cook does end up leaving the company here. Who is it that you folks would rather see in that role? And if you don't have a specific name, that's fine. What type of person, whether it be from another department within Apple, someone on the exterior, let me know what type of CEO you think Apple needs to go to after the Tim Cook departure. Does John Turnus do it for you? Does the current hardware engineering chief, does that do it for you? I don't have an opinion on this. I'd actually need to read and think a little bit more about this. I'm basically just seeing this news for the first time here today. I did agree with the folks that said that if Tim Cook left, I believe that the market would view that as a potential bullish indicator or perhaps some more upside. So we'll see there. Turnus, who's 50, is highly respected within the Apple community and enjoys Cook's trust, making him a likely choice for the top job. This impending executive shakeup at Apple is a significant event as it could potentially impact the company's strategic direction and operational efficiency. The departure of key executives, particularly Tim Cook, who has been instrumental in shaping Apple's growth trajectory, will certainly leave big shoes to fill. The new leadership will have the task of maintaining Apple's innovative edge and market dominance amidst growing competition and evolving consumer demands. The way the company navigates this transition will be crucial for future success. I completely agree with that. It does say here that it will have the task of maintaining Apple's innovative edge. I know from our discussions here amongst our group that I know there's a lot of folks that don't think Apple has an innovative edge. They absolutely have an edge, but perhaps it's not in innovation here. David says Apple hardware is the best. AI and software has now started to slow. I'd say it's a good move. David, I think on the surface here, without me doing any more research or anything on that, I would have to agree with you. Apple's hardware and their ecosystem is really what drives them forward here. And now you're bringing the head of hardware engineering and saying that maybe that's the potential replacement there for Tim Cook. Yeah, I would definitely view that. I would definitely view that as a good thing. Mike says Tim Cook's got to go. No major innovations in recent years, to be honest. That's a consistent opinion across not only our group but other groups as well. Of course, the producer here asking if Tim is cooked. That goes without saying. All right, folks, good stuff here for the news. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of it, and we will do our absolute best to track it throughout the course of the day. But right now, we got an interview to do, and I am extremely pleased because this is a stock that has been, let's just call it, in play recently with some new recent news. It is my pleasure to bring to Benzinga's pre-market playbook Draganfly CEO Cameron Chell. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Cameron, good morning. Happy Monday. How you doing, boss?
Doing great, thanks. How are you, sir?
I'm doing really good. Look, I won 3 bets in a row from Saturday night into Sunday on sports, which means that my weekend is always going swimmingly. And then I woke up to some pretty big news here this morning. Looks like we're going to have a pretty crazy market day. But your company, no stranger to some crazy market days, as you announced a huge contract last week. So for those of you that might not know, this is Draganfly, that's ticker DPRO, DPRO on the NASDAQ. This is CEO Cameron Chell. Draganfly is an unmanned aerial vehicle company that is, I think, headquartered in Canada, but operates in Canada and the US as well.
States for well over 20 years.
Okay, there we go. Last Tuesday, you announced a big contract here. Draganfly announced its selection by the U.S. Army to provide Flex FPV drone systems. So I'm going to start right there. Can you tell us about this? Can you tell us any more about the contract itself?
What's important about this contract is 2 aspects. First of all, we were selected. So this was well over a year-long process, plus years getting to that point. Having the U.S. Army select our FPV drone for their particular missions. Now, the other, so one, selection and the quality and the criteria that you have to go through to be selected by this type of a client is extensive and I think speaks to our team and our potential. The other really, really big thing here is this is the pointy end of the stick. This is the leading edge of what the U.S. Army and the Department of War is doing. We're not just providing drones, but we're actually working with them to embed our manufacturing into their facilities on base so that they can be doing assembly, modification, maintenance, mission profiling of the drones real time. So typically, and in the past, say pre-Trump era or pre-DOD era, the procurement cycles were years long. But what leaders of action like Ukraine have taught the Department of War is that you now need to iterate in hours, not years. And so this is the leading edge model where they're embedding us into their supply chain, into their manufacturing process, into the concept of operations. so that we're actually designing drones, delivering drones, providing drones, doing manufacturing with them in real time, so that within hours we're making mission changes.
Okay, that's that type of flexibility, absolutely important. That's really good stuff. I guess you kind of touched on this here with that answer a little bit, but more specifically, what makes Draganfly stand out in the drone defense space against its competitors? We look at drone stocks here all of the time. What makes DPRO different?
People into our actual verticals. So we've been in Ukraine with boots on the ground since 2022. We were delivering insulin into besieged cities in 2022. We've been doing mining there, since demining work, since 2022. Our Flex FPV drone and other parts of our product line were actually designed in those theaters of action in Ukraine with people that are warfighting, protecting our freedom right now. Now, we bring that experience back to our DOW partners. And so we're able to comment and think through not just the quality of the drone, but what is the concept of operations? What is it that we need to accomplish? So when we designed a drone, not only does it have to perform, but hey, what is the design characteristic such that we can get 7 of these in a backpack rather than 3? How do we design the backpack so that if you're in a situation, you're able to still execute on that plan and be able to manipulate and move and do the things that you need to do to be the most effective warfighter or the most effective logistics technician in that command cycle. That's what makes Draganfly different. Now, we've been in business for 27 years. Every single drone manufacturer that has been in North America in the last 27 years has gone out of business, other than the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 years, where we've seen this new drone cycle. Now, the reason is that we have been providing contract engineering to the DoD primes, the Aero Environments, the General Atomics, et cetera, all that entire time, and also serving our public safety. We've been doing what's called NDAA compliance, so secure drone manufacturing, supply chain logistics, that entire time before NDAA, which is the requirement for all drones now to be secure, non-Chinese, non-foreign made. We've been doing, so we helped coach this whole system through and have designed it that way. And those are our really big differentiators. We have engineers that have been doing this for 27 years, which is very unique in the business.
Okay, so it seems like you absolutely have a head start there on some of the experience with some of the engineers at the business. That is really awesome. Let me ask you, how do you plan to deploy the recent financing proceeds, and what type of return on investment should investors expect?
So right now, it's about $60 million. We're burning right around about $1 million a month. We're going to continue to invest that into our product line and into business development. We will do a limited amount of merger and acquisition, not even merger, but acquisition or investment type work that needs to be extremely accretive to us. We're really solid on the technology side and on the commercialization and deployment side. Definitely scaling our people right now and getting great talent. So acqui-hires is important to us. There's a plethora of talent out there that wants to be in the drone business or that are new startups in the drone business. Sometimes their technology is much less interesting to us, but their people are very interesting to us. So we're driving sales. We spent the last 3 years previous to this building out our capacity. We can organically build $100 million worth of product a year, which is what we've got the demand out there for right now. In fact, we had to build that capacity first before we could get this Army order, or presumably or hopefully the other DOW orders that we're working on as well. So that investment's been made. So now it's all about scaling.
Okay, and I'm going to actually ask you about that scaling, but before I do, I have to ask this. I ask every guest of one of these companies that I bring on here. How are you managing risks, around dilution and warrants from capital raises?
We've not done very large financings. We have really piecemealed our financings along the way, only to be able to have the capital that we need. So we've kind of run a real-time capital scenario. That's helped protect our dilution. Now, we did just do a $25 million raise, but it was when our stock was doing well. And we will only be raising capital if it's absolutely accretive. So if there is an acquisition that's very accretive, or if there is a large order coming down the pipe where the equity balance to the ROI on that investment, as opposed to maybe industry capital or government-backed capital or something like that, where it makes sense. So we're going to remain very selective about how we do that. We definitely, compared to the comps out there in the market, we've raised less money. We've been more conservative. I'm not saying that their strategy is wrong. It's not. There's some really fine companies out there that are doing some great work. But we've been around for 27 years because we didn't overstep.
Okay, and you look to continue that there. That's great, and that's what a lot of our investors are looking at. There was a question here. Ask them about offerings for cash, please. Really good stuff there. I appreciate you taking the time to answer that. Okay, the backlog is what I want to talk about here. What does the quantifiable backlog look like, and what type of conversion rate can we expect from that?
Our board consists of people like Tom Mosley, who's the former Secretary of the Navy, the only gentleman who's ever been able to do an audit on the Navy. The former Secretary of Defense, Chris Miller, is on our board. The former Chief of Staff of the White House is our chief advisor. So these folks are like, hey, we don't need to give guidance. We just need to show performance. Now, in terms of log, we very purposely built out $100 million worth of capacity over the last couple of years, and we wouldn't be getting this contract if we didn't have that capacity. So if that can give your listeners some sort of indication as the type of backlog, we'll call it, that we've got lined up. We've got very good order visibility for the next couple of years. And so because of that, we've also recently announced partnership with Emerald. And Emerald is a contract manufacturer, and we took a long time to make a decision to go with Emerald. So we have now an additional 7 plants in the United States that we're in the process of standing up and tooling to be able to meet the additional above the organic manufacturing that we're doing in order to meet that demand. That adds about $300 million worth of capacity to us. It will be coming on stream in phased approaches over the course of the next year.
Okay. Real good stuff there. All right. We talked a little bit about scaling there. What is your biggest challenge in scaling U.S. manufacturing and supply chains?
I think the NDAA requirements and really working with the regulators and the government to source product that is NDAA compliant. Now, that doesn't mean that it's all manufactured in the United States, but it's at the very least, it has to come from approved friendly nations, trackable supply chain, predictable amount of inventory, and those types of things. So when you take out somebody like a Chinese manufacturer out of the market, where fortunately for us, we've never relied on that. So we have a bit of an advantage there. But when you take that out of the market and you're used to the features and functions and price that industrial power would provide you, replacing that just takes time. So I would say that innovation, commitment, all the rest of it from the American industrial sector is there and it's moving forward. But there's just a certain amount of time to get certain technical parts built in areas where they do comply with the NDAA standard. That's probably the biggest challenge scale right now, but it's being addressed, and it's being addressed quite quickly.
Okay, perfect. So you already have plans to kind of increase that. That's fantastic. All right, these last two questions.
We're certainly on track to hit our numbers now, but it's taken us a couple of years to get all those supply chains, and with the increase of innovation that is just rapidly happening in the drone sector right now, we're constantly having to innovate also in our supply chain.
Okay, perfect. That's actually a really good segue to the next question here. How significant are the recent military and defense contracts, and what's next in the pipeline? If you want to generalize that, what milestones should investors kind of look for the next 12 to 18 months?
The signature brand, if you will, the credibility of the client. The size is much less important right now. The fact that you were selected, the fact that you are in the door, that is the most important thing right now. There are going to emerge 4 or 5 players out there that will be the dominant forces in this particular market sector. The biggest challenge to that happening is, did you get through the selection process, which doesn't take 6 weeks. It takes 2 to 3 years. If you're not there now, you're probably not going to be one of the major players that are in this space. So the most important thing is contracts, but not size. Contracts meaning, who is it that's selecting you, and what are the mission profiles that you're delivering on those? Now, second of all, will be contract sizes, because that will speak to your execution and it will speak to the longevity of what's happening. But those contract sizes are happening now. Now, in the military space in particular, it's a little bit different in the commercial and the public law enforcement or public safety space. But in the military space in particular, they're very, very sensitive about announcing numbers. Everything that goes in those press releases is also strategic information, and they're examined closely by people who may not be friendly, to the American agenda. So you kind of have to be a bit of an analyst when you're looking at these and read into what the potentials.
Okay, we're having a little bit of trouble with the audio. We missed like the first 2 or 3 seconds of every answer that you give. I did have one question here from one of the viewers. Hopefully you can answer it. Who do you view as your biggest competitors right now?
And the reason I say that is that the demand coming out of the United States, even if there was 5 times as many, 10 times maybe even as many manufacturers that are NDAA compliant right now, we would not come close to meeting the demand and the requirements that are needed and there's budgets for. So the better that any of our current competitors do, can't quite frankly right now, the better that we do. It's really establishing the market and the manufacturing ecosystem within North America. Our biggest competitors are the innovation, the low-cost manufacturing, the subsidized manufacturing that comes out of places like China. And I'll be candid, they make a fantastic product. Their products are better than ours right now, and they're lower priced for all kinds of reasons, mostly government-backed and mostly because this is now a policy-driven strategic industry. Previously, it was a commercial, prosumer, kind of fun-ish type of, nascent growing market. Now it's a strategic imperative. And so our biggest competitor are still foreign, not domestic.
Okay, so it's not a domestic. And I think that's what you started to say there. We did have the audio cut out again. Several folks here asking, missing the first part there. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think what you were saying there is that your biggest competitor is not someone that's domestic, rather it's a foreign company. Is that correct? Okay, he said, yes, that's correct. Keep going, sorry.
Yeah, it's the foreign manufacturers that are really the competitors in the space, because if the market manufacturing base was 10 times larger in the US, it still wouldn't meet demand. There's no way we're going to meet demand over the next couple of years as a company. We could scale 5 times what we're planning, we still wouldn't meet demand. But what's important to note is that it's those foreign manufacturers with the low price, government, strategic imperatives to beat America. That's our competitor.
Okay. Really awesome stuff. First of all, I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your morning, particularly on a Monday, here to talk with us. I hope to have you back. The drone theme is something that a lot of us have actively been investing and trading, and we are certainly watching it. So really, really appreciate it. Folks, Cameron Chell, CEO for Draganfly. That's ticker DPRO on NASDAQ, DPRO. Cameron, thank you so much for your time here today. Look forward to checking back in with you as you continue to advance the business. You're quite welcome. Folks, technical issues, audio issues, that's not going to stop us. We're still going to get everything done here. Cameron did a great job there, and even when we asked him to repeat some of that stuff, he was kind enough to do that. We will continue to bring these CEOs on the program here. You can ask them directly what's on your mind about that. I am super excited for the drones, as y'all know about that. Especially with ONDS. DPRO was not one on my radar, and it is now. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be going to be watching here. Hope that you all enjoyed that. By the way, quick look here. DPRO trading up by about 5% in the pre-market here today. Thank you, folks. Cam saying, great guest. DPRO is def on the move indeed. And like I said, we will continue to check in there. No problem. Izzy, Ryan, recap your thoughts on DPRO looking to buy long-term. So I actually do like this long-term. I do love that this is a player that's been around for a long time. I love the edge that they have within the people at the company, right? People that have been doing this for a long time, know what the regulations are, know what is required to get ahead. The one thing, Izzy, when it comes to a long-term position, especially since I already have some exposure in this sector long-term, one of the things that I'm going to be waiting for here is a pullback. This chart looks incredibly constructive to me. This chart looks incredibly constructive. It looks like it's put in kind of a long-term base. We've started to come off of that base, and it's done a really good job moving across some of these moving averages here. What I would really like is a back test of any one of these areas, whether it's 7.5, maybe some of the moving averages itself. Maybe it trades sideways here and brings some of these averages up and forms a base there. I just don't want to chase it here. Izzy, one of the things that I would say here is that if you were absolutely interested in this long term and you want to develop your thesis over a long term and you're not really concerned about some of the day-to-day fluctuations, I could see then kind of nibbling here in small size and then having a plan to add as the stock comes back in. I'm not just going to go out and buy it just for the sake of owning it. I would rather be as tactical as possible. But I will say here, definitely encouraged from what I heard here today. I'm encouraged that they're going to be judicious about diluting shares and raising capital. I'm encouraged that they have expertise and experience in this industry for multiple decades. I'm encouraged that they're working hand in hand with the military, and I'm encouraged that they view this as incredibly important work that the United States needs to win in. So I'll be honest with you, lots of good answers from Cameron here today. Absolutely like this long term. You got it, Izzy. All right, really good stuff there. Again, smash up the like for our guy Zoltan. Zoltan, you don't see him on the stream here. He works behind the scenes. He doesn't just work here for the show either. He does a lot of really, really good work for the Benzinga News Desk team. He is the one that helps secure some of these interviews. He's always got his ear to what's going on our show and in the market. Please smash up the like for our guy Zoltan, who's able to get us these excellent guests and bring these interviews to you. Brandy here says, would have liked to know when they expect to be profitable. Brandy, did I just call you Grandy? I am so sorry. Brandy, that is a good question. I did thought I had enough questions about the profitability and the financials there, but I will absolutely take this as feedback, and perhaps I can create maybe a more direct question to some of this for some of the future interviews there. Really, really appreciate that feedback there. Really, really appreciate that feedback. Okay, it's time. The market's still crazy here, so we're going to bring on our crazy friend to help break it down. Let's bring on 13, see how he's doing. 13, good morning. Happy Monday. How you doing here today?
Good morning. It's your crazy friend 13.
It's your crazy friend 13. Am I wrong? Which
No.
part of that was inaccurate?
No, just haven't had that intro yet.
Look, I'm trying to come up with new intros. You're here every day. I'm trying to keep it spicy.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. How was your weekend, Ryan?
It was great, man. It was great. Relaxing. I saw my mom for her birthday, which is fantastic. We had good weather. I won a ton of bets.
Nice.
It was a really good weekend. And I'll be honest, man, I woke up this morning and I was like, we're going to have a really good week. I start looking at the news, and the news is like, I have no chill. There is going to be a ton of good news here today. We've got the AMD OpenAI stuff. That's going crazy. Yep. Ondas is trading higher, got a $12 price target from Wainwright. That's moving. I mean, there's just a lot of really good stuff. Great interview with Cameron Chell, CEO of Draganfly, ticker DPRO. This has been an amazing start. And here locally in Chicago, it's not even 8 a.m. So I feel like I've kid in a candy store here this morning.
Yeah, it certainly does look like some small cap names are really ripping this morning, aren't they?
Yeah, you want to hit those movers and just go through them?
Yeah, we can. I only took a good look at two this morning because I was catching what you were the interview with DPRO, and I thought it was really interesting. So sorry for getting distracted, but
that's okay.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, that interview today. So hopefully everybody got some value out of that. I thought that was great.
I would just turn this around on you. Izzy asked for my my recap and my knee-jerk reaction thoughts to it. I would turn that around for you. Did you have any?
Well, you said you had the audio issue, so I was trying to pay attention to and reconstruct what he was saying going backwards. But yeah, it does things that you were saying about how foreign competitors are going to be or currently the strongest that they're going against right now. And I can understand that from China, and I can understand that from Ukraine and Europe, where they're starting to really build up that manufacturing capacity. I just kind of wanted to know where else he's seeing these spring up, which other countries, because maybe there's a name that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
So just kind of wanted to know if I was interested to know if that, where which countries exactly, because he did point out China.
Yep.
So I was just kind of wondering what other countries. But anyway, really great interview though.
Yeah, and I think the China one, I think that one's fairly obvious there. I think the larger takeaway from me there is that it was basically anyone foreign they view as a competitor, and I think that's absolutely the right approach. So, okay, good. Glad you enjoyed it. Appreciate that, 13. Obviously, DPRO, this is a stock that is in play that we're going to be watching. So if we have anything further on that or anything that comes up, we'll be happy to discuss that and take a look at it. All right, looking at the movers list here, your first one, this is one that we should be familiar with. We've taken a look at this several times in the past. We've had this move before. This is ticker SOPA. We call it SOPA. The name of the company is Society Pass. Apparently, the news here is that this rockets 130% after an analyst said, quote, "It should be significantly higher," end quote. Here's what that looks like. As of this morning, Ascendant Capital Markets Society Pass reports strong second quarter 2025 revenue growth of 46% year over year. This is one of the PRs that we're getting here. There's a lot of information on this, and I guess he also said it should be significantly higher. So it is significantly higher. In fact, it's up by 134% here today. Looks like we hit a high of 4 earlier in the pre-market. Right now, we're still holding above VWAP. Pretty decent formation, though. Dips get bought as it dips back to the VWAP and then ends up going higher. Sure looks like this is trying to take out 340 as we speak. We'll see. Quick look at the short interest on this one. 0.32% of the float shorted. With its most recent read, it was actually a substantial tick down. So notable there, less short interest than the prior read. 1 day to cover on that. Average volume here, 154,000 shares. Today we've traded 72 million. Float on this is 5.7 million. So 13, what do you think? Do you think we're going to have some SOPA action here today?
Well, it's certainly possible. I mean, it does have a float of 5.7 million. So it's not going to be too difficult to move around. I think one of the reasons why you're seeing such lowered short interest, because as of their last earnings report, they sort of broke even. This is one of the best earnings reports that they've had, and it looks like the company is on its way to turning around. So I think that's why Ascendant Capital is so excited about this company, and they continue to raise their price target. It went from 15 to 18, and 18 to 22, where it's at now. So now that we're looking to see if that's going to end up being the case, and there's still a long way to go for it to get up there. So I do have some levels here that we can look at. We've actually already taken out one of them. Let me just go back here and look at the left to see where we're at, because we are at 340 in the pre-market right now. So that's taking us pretty close to this consolidation area from 2023. It's like October to the end of the year of 2023. And then in 2024, January, we lost this level at 350. So 350, kind of a standout area. If you look at the price action in the pre-market here, I think we did end up getting that 350 area as a bit of a resistance level. Yep. So 5-minute chart, we did blast past it in the pre-market all the way up to $4, $3.99 to be more specific, before we came back in and found ourselves some support down at the 280, 285 area. So, and that was also where I have the VWAP, just a little bit beneath where I have VWAP. So VWAP did play a part in catching this downside price action. We're turning around, trying to get back above 350 right now. And if we do, I think as long as we continue with that upward momentum and hold above 350, we'll see 4.
Okay. This chart actually looks pretty good. We'll see if the volume can continue to flow here today. And I agree with you, 13. I think we might have an opportunity there. Real quick here, Lion Atlas. Good morning, Lion. It's great to see you again. I'm enjoying my hot and ready to make some money. Lion, just inquiring minds want to know, are you eating Little Caesars pizza this early in the morning? Did you get a hot and ready pizza this early in the morning? Okay, looks like he said I meant my hot tea. So he's not, in fact, buying Little Caesars here. That's good. You'll probably feel better today. Okay, I digress. Next stock on the list is going to be SPRB. This is Spruce Biosciences. Stock was $8.65 on Friday. We actually tried to test 22 earlier here today. We are holding above the VWAP. The last pullback to VWAP resulted in a 2+ point bounce from the VWAP. We'll see if we get that here again. Taking a look at this, Spruce Biosciences says the FDA grants breakthrough therapy designation to tralisindase alpha enzyme replacement therapy for the treatment of, Sanfilippo syndrome type B. Okay, I have no idea what any of that stuff is. I'm sorry, folks. 13, hopefully you've done some late night reading or something, because I'd have to actually go through this and look a couple of things up. What I can say here, very positive data. It looks like it's getting on one of its therapies. Stock is up 118%. My goodness, this is a huge move higher. Short interest on this name, pretty negligible. Don't think this is a squeeze action at all. 0.11% of the float shorted here with 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume. Oh my gosh. Average volume is less than 10,000 shares. Literally 9,920 shares is your average volume. Today, we've traded over 8 million. The float here, micro float. 500,000 shares, 552,000 in the float. So SPRB, I'm going to get this ticker wrong. I apologize in advance to the group. I'm going to do my absolute best. 13, don't judge me. I'm going to try. SPRB, Spruce Biosciences, super low float, positive news on one of its trials here. What do you think on this one?
Well, I'll just make it real simple. This is a neurological disorder. So that's all you need to really know, because I don't think I didn't even know how to get into this. So I'll just say it has to do with the brain. That's what the breakthrough therapy designation is for. And that means that the FDA is going to help fast track this drug to get it to its primary endpoints. That means that with this current drug, they are at the end of their phase 2 clinical trial, and they have a filing coming up in the first half of 2026. That could be a pretty important milestone. So they do have an upcoming catalyst, but as far as this one goes today, this is for a drug that is on its way to being completed through its phase 2 trial. So hopefully this fast track designation helps it get through phase 3 quickly. I don't think they're going to need to raise cash yet, but I think they may end up having to, just not right away, but it could be as early as today, but I don't think it's likely. They don't have, they've significantly cut down on how much their cash burn has been. They only lost $2 million last quarter, and they've got more than $16 million in the bank. But the phase 3 is going to be expensive, and fortunately, they do have this breakthrough therapy designation to help them along with that. But it's ripping right now as we speak.
I was just going to say it's literally going crazy as we speak here. 2750. I've got 2771 as the high print.
I didn't even get to the trend line, but that's fine.
And it just got broke. It didn't even wait for you, 13.
No.
It said, stuff your trend line. I'm going to break it anyway.
Let me just get ahead of 13 here. Anyway, that's what we're getting. So if you want to go ahead and just draw that so we can see what it might.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here. That's what we're going to be looking at here. But anyway, this thing is taken off. Let me see where I don't think I had an area where this may go to, because now it's completely shattered it. The next one looks to be, let's see where we're at. Nope, it's past that already too. There's a gap fill coming up that from December of 2024 that could take it up to 40. But we have to get through some consolidation first, and that's going to be at about 31 132.
Okay. Bob here. I love this comment. Bob's getting it done. We're not even open yet. We haven't even completed the mover section of the show. Bob's ready to go. Thank you, SPRB. I'm fine for the day. Bob, ring that up. Really good start to your Monday morning here. Let's absolutely get it. Hey, 13, I could get used to covering these stocks right as they pop while we're covering them. That makes for some pretty good programming there, I suppose.
Yeah, but it sucks for me.
Oh man, that's true. I suspect we'll get another opportunity at this one. You can see what this thing is doing here, folks. This is now up 253%, 33 prints now.
There it is. There's that area that I just said that it's gonna we're gonna hit and see resistance, but nope, we backed off very briefly, and now we're going higher. My God.
So here's what it looks like on the daily chart there. I'm going to give you a crazy level here. You ready for this one? 66.
Sure. Okay.
66. I'm not nearly as experienced, nor do I have the resume of the crazy levels that 13 does, but I'm going to give you one here today. 66 on SPRB. Let's see if it prints that. I'm not making any guarantees, just looking at the chart and discerning what that level is. Big time rip here.
I like 40 first, but let's see where we. I'm not sure yet what to get after 6 or after 40.
13 more crazy levels, more better. We've got 40 and 66 on deck. That's what we're doing here. Oh my goodness! I told you we were going to have a good week, folks. I told you this Monday was going to be awesome. It's not even waiting for the market to open. It's just like, let's go. We got to go now. And that's what it's doing. So, okay. Really good breakdown there, 13. I'm going to keep moving on. The next ones are real easy because they're leveraged ETFs of AMD, which we've already discussed. The AMD news is crazy. AMDL's up 71.5%. AMDG, same deal. 71.5%. These are 2x levered long ETFs. If these are the ones that you have been trading, congrats. More register rings going out for the group here today as we continue to just rip higher on AMD. AMD itself also making the movers list. I know these are normally resolved for smaller cap stocks, but big cap tech's like, nope, we're going to keep going. AMD almost up 36%. This actually looks like it's going to try and take 230. Just an unbelievable move here. We can go back and talk about the AMD news if you want, 13. I already covered it a little bit on the show. I do want to get through some of these movers here. Then we can kind of settle on the other stuff that's moving. Sure. One of the other movers that we had here was ONMD. And I am almost 100% certain, although I cannot tell you what day it was, I am almost certain that we have traded this here before. This actually has a pretty decent formation where it looks like it's going to try and take out this 160, 165 area and go towards the pre-market high, which we have at 186. But yep, and here it goes. All we had to do was start talking about it. It's like we're driving the bus right now, 13. One MedNet taps Palantir to power 868 billion AI healthcare push with a real-world data platform. So this is what the news is here. Let me see if there's anything else in the press release. Access to healthcare data remains a key barrier to unlocking 868 million in market opportunity in AI-driven healthcare by 2030. That's what I was hoping. I wanted to see if there was a time horizon in there too, and it does. It says by 2030 here. OneMedNet is positioned at the forefront by leveraging Palantir software to combine OneMedNet's expansive provider network with Palantir's advanced analytics, unlocking scalable recurring revenue opportunities on a secure regulatory grade platform. Okay, that's the news that's driving this here. The price action is pretty good so far. Quick look at the short interest, 3.04% of the float shorted with 2.28 days to cover. That comes on a 100-day average volume of just over 6 million shares. Today, we've traded 33.5 million. Float on this one is 27.68 million. 13, what do you think here on ticker ONMD?
Sometimes you toss me a layup. And this one is I like because I do have my levels from the last time we traded this, and it probably was either I think it might have been back in May, the 24th.
I think you're correct.
The 24th or the 31st, one of those 2 days. They both had some pretty good movement. Now this was a SPAC formerly called Data Knights Acquisition, and they combined with this one med net company in November of 2023. And I think it would be safe to say that this thing has de-SPAC'd. So
Okay.
With that in mind, we might be able to, and I haven't looked through, any of the filings, so I don't know what the, if all the redemption offers have gone through or anything, or who is still wanting to hang out in this or not. But this looks like it's de-SPAC'd, like it's completely deflated. So I think with these levels that I have here, we could see all of them get hit over time. But let's start with the ones that are actually getting hit today. And those are going to be the ones that go from about $1.50 to $2. The ones I have out here for that, we're right at one of them right now. So if we can get over 155, great news. I'll see you hopefully at 170. That's the next one I have above that, and then 195 after that before we hit 2.
Okay, here you go. So first of all, here's that big spike back in May of 2024. Yeah. We also had some similar spikes recently. We just took that here on ONMD. 205, maybe 2 to 205 next, and then maybe 330 if we go and challenge that entire area. This actually looking pretty good here so far. We'll see if this can build above the VWAP. That'd be great.
Now, so the volume is, so the volume's like, almost 4 times what it normally trades on average. Float's a little bit heavier than the other ones we've looked at. Still, we should see some pretty decent trading if there's going to be any trades at all. I'm still kind of wondering if the market's going to pull on us at the open here after this rally it's kind of given us this morning based off of the AMD news. You kind of understand what I'm getting at, like everybody's just gonna start taking profit.
Huge pop, lots of green arrows. People think, okay, well, I'll sell some here, but all of a sudden that starts selling on top of itself and rolling. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
and actually the pre-market here, sorry, 13, the pre-market here on the SPY, 2 pops with wicks up, but we are still kind of testing one of those lower areas. So you might be onto something.
Yeah, so I think with the way that things are running, and this one included, I don't know that I'd be buying into the open. I think I'm going to just wait and see what we get out of the open. I just have this sticky suspicion that with all the look at all these movers, these small names that are up today. It's great to see, but call me skeptical. Just a little skeptical that we'll hold these levels at the open.
Okay, we will see. Look, we're going to be looking at all of these stocks here multiple times today. Mm-hmm. We've often talked about maybe kind of letting that open shake out here. And 13, I think you're onto something. I think that's a good thing to do here today. Obviously, if you're in some of these names and you want to take profit, we are never going to tell you to not put money in your pocket here on this show. Never. If you're always worried about something continuing after you've sold it, just sell part of it. Just sell part of it. Easy solution to that. Okay. Real quick here, another piece of news from another mover. This is going to be CRML. This news actually happened on Friday after hours. CRML, this is Critical Metals. Critical Metals enters a security purchase agreement to raise $35 million in gross proceeds through private placement in public equity transaction. So that's going to be one of your pipes. 35 million private placement. This holding higher by 43%. This is up almost $3.50. A quick look around the horn on this one. 17.01% of its float is shorted here. That's on 1.34 days to cover, and that comes on a 100-day average volume of 5.45 million. Today we've done over 18.5 million. We're actually not far away from 19 million. Float on this is 24 million. So 13, what do you think here? Critical Metals, ticker CRML. And for those of you, this is a lithium stock. I know we've been talking about lithium names recently. Critical Metals is engaged in lithium exploration in Austria. It's focused on the development of its wholly owned Wolfsburg lithium project, the Wolfsburg project, located in Carthinia, Austria. So that's some context for this. 13, what do you think of CRML?
CRML was a SPAC, originally called Sizzle Acquisition Corp, and it merged with Critical Minerals in February last year. This also looks like it's de-SPACed because it went down to 120. I think the low was 123. Kind of formed a little bit of a base and turned around. Now we're trying to recapture some of these levels. Matter of fact, we're above the SPAC price now. Usually that's $10. So Let's see if we can end up holding above that. And if you look at a daily chart back in 2024, there was a lot of back and forth following the merger. So I think those are going to, that's going to be the area we're going to want to pay attention to for levels. It looks to me like 1250 is going to be a pretty important level. If we get up there, that could be one where we find some resistance. There are going to be a bunch of bag holders above $14. And that goes all the way up to 2250 on that one day after, I think that was after they merged. With this thing ramped all the way up to 2250 and came back in. So there are likely still some bag holders up there. But that's all I've got really here for CRML. But just a little piece of information there. It wasn't a SPAC just like the last one.
Okay. Real quick, I just wanted to briefly touch on a couple of things here that are in the list. And then 13, I'll turn it over to you for any stocks here that you want to mention. We talked a little bit about AMD. Obviously, the AMD related ETFs are moving here today. Pally was a trade from last week. This was on the radar last week. Pally is actually higher here again today, and we have one of the patented 13 trend lines that we can draw. If you wanted to estimate this one a little bit, okay, we can do that too. But basically, this gives us a target for today. No idea if this is going to go up here today. We saw it move recently in the pre-market here today. We did take out the after hours and pre-market highs set previously. The trend line gives us a target. Don't know if it's going to go there. Really quickly, a reminder here on this one, 5.4% of the float shorted and a float of under 10 million. So still low, although not micro. Another one that we talked about last week was going to be Black Titan. This is ticker BTTC. This was the massive halt fest on Thursday. It did some pulling back here on Friday. Today, we're near those Friday lows. So I guess if this is something that you think can bounce on day 2 or maybe even day 3, put it on your radar. But just know we are down considerably from the halt fest highs in a 30 handle, almost a 40 handle from Thursday. Setting up here just a little bit. The other one that I wanted to mention here, EOSE. This is, I don't know if you remember 13, but way back, I think right when we started this, we also talked a little bit about it back when Mitch was on the show. There was a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but there was a gentleman in the chat that every day told us EOSE was going to be a huge winner. Stock was about $2-3. He said, I can't tell you when, but I know this is going to be a huge winner. I can't remember his name. We don't see him anymore. EOSE here, $14. This is ripping again here in the pre-market. If we zoom out, just kind of show you what this stock has done recently, look at this move. This has been a double since September 11th. Just an absolutely huge move here on EOSE. It's moving again. I'll give you some quick stats because we haven't really talked about this one as a mover. Look at this, 87.69% of the float shorted, as per our last reading there on September 24th, with 5.81 days to cover. Squeeze much? I don't know. 93 million shares in the float on this one. On average, trades 15 million shares a day. EOS Energy Enterprises designs and develops, manufactures, and markets zinc-based energy storage solutions for utility-scale, microgrid, and commercial and industrial applications. Got to think there's a data center angle to this. Did you have anything? I think I ran over.
I just wanted to have you go to like a weekly or a monthly chart, because when you do, you start to see where the support and resistance areas are. Yeah.
Here's your weekly.
Mm-hmm.
So credit where credit is due. We had a gentleman in this chat saying that this was going to be a huge winner at some point in the future. Even though that person's not around anymore, figure we might as well mention this here. Jay saying EOSE, yep, even the secondary couldn't knock it down.
And Brian, thanks for helping out Allison with the special acquisition companies. And yes, when after this SPAC merges with the company they're trying to bring to market, there are some investors that will try to get out with redemption offers. So that's what the de-SPACing process is, when basically investors are taking their money out.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Shout out to you, 13. I always like explaining some of these terms that we talk about. That was a really good catch there. Jay, also adding to this, there's rumors of big contracts like we saw in NBIS. That is for EOSE. That's something else to keep in mind there. Jay's asked earlier, you guys see the Quantum HQ post going around this weekend? Yes, I shared that with 13 and he nearly bit my head off on it. So I'm sure we could talk about that a little bit more when we get into the regular market. I still maintain that the quantum names, whether they work or they don't work, at some point there's going to be a short as these come back to reality. I don't know when that is. I'm definitely looking for that. I'm open to ideas. If you have ideas on maybe a regression back to the mean on those names, let me hear it. We can talk about it. 13, maybe that's something we can cover a little bit more when we slow down.
Real briefly, they're real extended, and they should come in. They should come in. So, but I think, and I think this is where the big disagreement is on, the whole quantum theme. Are they going to be done and completely? Are they all frauds and this and that? I think some could be, but I think a lot of them aren't. And they just need to have their Chat GPT moment, because that's literally when the whole AI theme took off. As soon as Chat GPT came out and people started using it and everybody was realizing there's really something here. This is kind of what we've been waiting for. And it just needs to have that kind of moment. They'll all be back. So,
And you're right about that moment there, right? Drones had that, right? And so this is something that we're looking for. So here's the thing. If I knew when this was going to really kind of sell off, I would tell all of you, and I would look like an absolute genius. Y'all folks would make a ton of money on that. That's what's hard about this. I do think there is a trade here. I don't have any positions on. I'm looking for one. I'd be curious if anyone has a thesis on that. That'd be great. Okay. And then one more thing here to talk about. I'm not even trying to do a victory lap at this point. I'm really not, but it makes me so effing happy that there are so many people making money off of this stock that has put me through a lot of pain for a number of years. Really, really tested my patience. I'm definitely better because of it. And now it's actually starting to work, and it looks like there are a lot of other folks joining in on that, and that really, really does make me happy, folks.
And you saw the news today, right?
Yep. On this holding, shares are trading higher after H.C. Wainwright initiated coverage on the stock with a buy rating and announced a $12 price target. The company also priced its $425 million of underwritten offering of 19.56 million shares of its common stock and 17.4 million of its pre-funded warrants. The warrant strike price there was $20, according to Zach. If we look inside here real quick, this is what happened. When we got the news about the price target, it really spiked. We very shortly after got news of the offering. That brought it back down to the VWAP, and so far it's held higher here. Ondas again up nearly 8% ahead of the open here. 13, did you have anything else on this?
No, just I wanted to make sure that news was out there. I'm sure you already covered it, so I don't think we need to get into it if you did.
Here's the thing, like the news came out after the show started, so I basically just kind of saw the headline in my feed. I often do not get a chance to dive into this until after the show's over here. But yeah, here's some more information on this. Ondas prices announces the pricing of $425 million underwritten offering consisting of 19.56 million shares of common stock and 17.4 million pre-funded warrants, totaling 36.96 common stock equivalents.
So do you think those buyers from October of 2019 that picked it up for 1950 are really hoping for this to run to 20 now?
I mean, I think so. And I would honestly, so we had talked about, selling points on this. I'll give you an update. After Friday, I added a couple of more trim spots. I told you folks I was going to trim this like Jay Rice trimmed LEU often. I was going to hold a bunch. I was not going to sell all out of it, and I was going to trim it often. So I had talked to you on Friday. We trimmed some at 10, the round number there. I've got 2 more orders to trim added to the brokers set to good till cancel. $12 and $15. And remember, I also have some calls that I'm going to lighten on the way back up there. Now, you bring up a really good point here about the $19, $20 handle. Mm-hmm. Is that going to be some significant resistance if we get up there? Yeah, probably. And I think that it wouldn't behoove you to maybe, again, put some of these gains in your pocket instead of leaving them unrealized should we get to that resistance level. This is a pretty good thing. They're telling us exactly where that might be. Now, I don't know if the stock's going to double from here and go near that, but if it does, be ready. You have all of this You have all of this information early. Get in there, 13.
I like your next sell areas of 12 and 15. I'm just looking at a chart thinking, oh, that looks good and that looks good. That's basically the bottom and top area from the consolidation in January and February of 2021. I like that area. So you're going to sell the lows and the highs of that consolidation, that back and forth.
That's right.
There's all that supply. I like it.
That's right. Here's 12. Here's 15. You can see that we'll see if that 1946 $20 level. We'll see. I'm just glad that this is working here. It's been a long time coming. And it's good for patience to be rewarded. It's nice. We talk about patience on this show every single day. It's nice for you folks to actually be able to see it, to see that patience work out, as opposed to just a bunch of sad faces and so on and so forth. So, okay, really good stuff there with the movers. 13. Do you have anything else that you want to cover? Chat, do you have anything you want to cover? I can go to the main chart here. We can break it down. We've got 10 minutes till we open. I think I've run through everything that I wanted to run through here today. What say you next?
So far, DraftKings, I said this was going to be a good short. So far, it's been a really good one. And I've been saying that I want to see this kind of, go a little bit sideways before we take our next leg down. It's been doing that. I would anticipate that if it could rise back up a little bit, maybe as high as 37, 38, and test some resistance areas. But this is the price action I've been looking for. This needs to have the RSI cool down a little bit, but eventually I think this is going to continue lower to 30. There's another short that I'm looking into right now. I think it's already started, and it could end up continuing. I'll have some more information for you maybe a later day this week. But I think Reddit is going to continue lower. That this one could actually get cut in half.
Wow.
I don't take any position or do anything because I just said that. I'm just based on what I'm seeing right now. It looks like this is going to come back in on a technical level, but I think there's some fundamental development happening here where this company is going to be in some real legal trouble. So let me do some more research and find out if what I'm saying is going to be the case or not. But if I'm right, this thing is going to come down to 125, maybe even lower. So let me just do some research and I'll get back to you. But I think RDDT is the next one that could be a really good short from here.
Okay, let me ask you, do we have enough here for a head and shoulders? Is that enough of a right shoulder, or would you have liked to have seen that a little bit more clearly defined? I'm eyeballing it.
Yeah, I know, because it looks a little Quasimodo right now.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we could still, develop a more robust right shoulder from here. That would require the recapture of the 50-day SMA and take us up to 250. But I'm just kind of let me just look into this a little bit more to see if I'm right about my theory here. And we'll let you know. But that 50-day SMA, that's going to be a very important level to recapture. So that's one of the things on a technical level I'm watching for, is if the price can get back above it. I'm not sure that it will at the moment. Okay,
I'm actually going to extend this trend line out just in case, because I'll tell you something. I would love, just personally, so you folks can understand my own bias if we start talking about this a little bit later. I would absolutely love to be able to make bank on a Reddit short. There would be a lot of, obviously the financial gain is great, but there would be a lot of personal satisfaction there from being able to short Reddit. So I'd be extremely excited if we're able to get that going there. Bonjour, Smoke Tuna. Good morning. Yeah.
Without getting into it, I think the reasons you want that, you're excited for that, is I think has to do with the reason it's going to go down.
Okay. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of angry garbage being posted, I think is how I would summarize it without being specific. I gave you a very non-political example when I told you that my friend, who just simply tried to help me, posted a picture on what kind of bolt is this and ended up having to take it down because he was being made fun of. Now, I mean, he didn't really care. These are random internet people that don't matter, but it just goes to show you that there was nothing. The bolt didn't look like Trump. It was literally a bolt. Like it was a benign question where we were looking for some help, and it turned into name calling, idiots, this, that, and the other thing. It was a mess. John here says, agreed. Reddit is a mess. That's how I would summarize it. It's a mess.
And that mess may actually materially affect the stock price very soon if it hasn't already started. That's kind of what I'm looking into. So please bear with me while I look into this some more, and hopefully it doesn't go make a big move down before I figure it all out. But I do think this is going to go much lower, and I just need to be sure about what.
Okay. Okay, really good stuff there.
Yeah, okay. So that's a really good point, and it's absolutely horrible that this is the case. But
I don't know what you're reading. I'm reading a comment, and I can't help but laugh at it.
From Mr. Reeds, I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher your first name, but large language models training on that content. It's terrible. That's true, and it's really concerning. Really concerning.
Okay. Okay. Really good stuff there, though. Appreciate all of that. All right. What else do you want to take a look at here? We got 6 minutes till we open. Should we go to the chat? Is there anything that you wanted to look at?
I want to see what the chat has for us today.
Okay. Chat's got a lot of really good stuff. All that glitter said, Reddit, is there an inverse ETF? That's a good question. I don't know if there is off the top of my head. Chat, let me know if there is, in fact, a inverse ETF for Reddit and what that ticker is. Let's see here. Oh, you guys are great. Reddit. Izzy says RR and CAM MLTX. Okay, let's take a look at that. Izzy, RR, this has been a good one here. I know you've been watching this quite a bit. Look at this chart. Really good job, Izzy, sticking with this one, right? This would have been one that you could have just looked at it for a day, moved on, but the real good moves have been multi-day moves here. And you can see that the 20-day moving average has absolutely been incredibly important to the stock. Every time that we've pulled back to it recently here, stock has ended up going higher. This is actually up almost 12% here today. This is above a former resistance level. I think we talked about this one at 660x, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think you probably have some more here at 850. Did we have any news on this here this morning that's driving this higher by 12+%? Looks like Friday after hours, we had some Form 4s here. This looks like they were selling, unless I'm reading this wrong. No. Okay, so end of September, there was a sell there, but there was also a $200,000 buy order here from Phil Zhang. This says he's at zero. I'm going to have to actually go through that PR itself. Does look like there's an insider buy here on RR. That would explain why it's up here 12%. Take a quick look at the short interest here, 13, then I'll turn it over to you for the chart. 19.42% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. Comes on an average volume of 27.9 million. Float here 73 million. 13, what do you think on this, if anything?
Well, there is an interesting article here. I don't know. I don't know what Capybara research is. Not too familiar.
You know
with
what's
that
funny about that? Capybara Research followed me on X on Saturday. It looks like. I wasn't making anyone mad, was I?
Well, it's
I don't remember doing that.
This research firm is saying that Rich Tech Robotics has extensive fraud. So I mean that's the only real interesting thing I'm seeing about here. Now I don't know how true that is. Like I said, I don't know anything about the research firm, but just noticed that was out there. That's from September 30th, so less than a week old, or about a week old anyway. And I don't know if that's helped give this a lift or not. It seems like, whenever we do get some kind of short report or some article about a company call it, being fraudulent, it tends to rip, right? So I don't know where this is going to end up going here. This thing is also squeezing with the amount of short interest it has. But as far as the resistance areas, like $15 does look like it's going to get hit today, and if it wasn't hit already this morning, and act as resistance. That's the biggest one that I see right now. But it certainly could go higher. I don't have very many levels I'd be confident. Maybe 1750 if it manages to get above 15. But for now, I think 15 is going to be the big one. I would need to see it get over. Okay.
Izzy, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to track down that research, that short report from Capybara.
Well, I don't know if it's a short report. I'm just saying that there was an article that said they said it was had extensive fraud. I don't know if there was.
I mean, that seems like a short report. They published a report. Okay, I'm not trying to label or put words in anyone's mouth. You're absolutely right, though. In a recent published report, Capybara Research says it has, quote, uncovered extensive evidence that Rich Tech Robotics is not what it claims to be. So I don't have a judgment without reading the report myself. I don't have a judgment. I would absolutely like to track that down. Izzy, you often have these things on hand. If you have it, tweet it to me. I would be happy to take a look at that later today before the Monday Night Football game starts. Otherwise, I'll try and track this down myself and try and give you something updated on that. The short reports can go either way. We've seen the short reports be excellent buy catalysts, and we've seen them actually uncover something pretty terrible at the company here. This looks like a pretty good move. I don't have a position on this. This is definitely something that I'm going to watch. Definitely something that I'm going to watch here. Pretty decent chart. 13, really good breakdown on the chart there. Izzy, let me know if that's helpful. And if you have a copy of that report, let me know. All right, let me move over to the main workspace. We're getting ready to open here. Giddy up, folks.
And those of you mentioning Baru, good luck trading this thing. It's a penny stock. We don't really look at these too much, but this thing was over $1 at one point, and we did have fun with it. So hopefully you make some money out of that one. All right, folks, here we are. Let's look at SPRB, see what that does out of the gate. Are we going to go higher, or are we going to pull here?
SPRB, I'll tell you what, this thing is massively spread. It's going for the highs there.
Okay, so EOSC, that pulls out of the gate. CRML, that's trying to push higher out of the gate. We have the 65 EMA at 1242. So if we do go higher, I think that would be the area of resistance I'd be keeping an eye on. ONMD, this thing dropped just before the open, and it doesn't look like it's moving. I don't see that it's halted. Do you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't either. SPRB looks like that might be turning around now. Be careful on that. Let me bring up ONMD in my broker. I do not have this as halted. I have this I actually see prints here at 146.
So a little bit of sideways action here out of the gate, a little bit of weakness, kind of what we were anticipating we could see here with some of these names. But let's see if they get some investors or traders to pour into them. It looks like the CRML is trying to move up to that 65 EMA. So let's see what we end up getting right there. Sorry.
All right, that's okay. Let me put that on screen here. Here is your CR. Oh, this was a good mention here. Izzy mentioning Amazon is weak. Now look here's my question on Amazon really quick. We're basically pulling down to the lows from Friday. Is this a buy? Okay, we literally, as I'm asking that, we break through it. So I'd watch this 219.5 area. Maybe if this gets reclaimed, maybe this is a potential buy spot here for Amazon if it looks like it's going to try and defend the low from Friday. This is weak out of the gate here. Izzy, let me know where the buy spot is in real time if you can. Here is your CRML. This does look like this is making a move back to VWAP here.
ET3, ALAB I see as now above that 20-day estimate. We can get into that later, but I think it needs to hold above that moving average this week, or else we're going to come right back down, and then we'll probably get that head and shoulders we were talking about.
Trimmed. I actually had a limit order set on some more of the calls for Ondas. Trimmed more there.
ONMD.
350. Oh
ONMD
my!
It's getting some movement here. All right, so we have SPRB. That's halted. Looks like it's halted to the downside. I think this is one I'd be very careful with. If there's going to be some trade to happen here, I'm going to wait and see what we get out of this halt. I'd like for it to find support around 2250. That's now a support area following the breakout through the trend line that we were looking at. So 2250 I'd be looking at as a support area. I don't know if that's going to be where the buy spot is. Maybe I defer to Tuna AI for that, but I'd like to see that area right there hold up.
Okay, and AMD, by the way, this is pulling after its big news here this morning. It's worth noting that your VWAP there, 216.5. It's currently at 217 here. Maybe a potential bounce here for AMD. Rooney's asking if it's support. I don't know. We'll see if this acts as support. Actually, it looks like we went right through it there. All I had to do was keep talking.
All right, CRML.
And no, you know what? No, actually, maybe we defend it. Watch this VWAP spot over the next couple of minutes there. 13, I have got to go to the washroom. I'll be right back.
Do your thing. So I'm just looking at CRML right now. That's right at that 65 EMA, and trying to continue to push a higher through it. We still have 1:15 left in this candle, so waiting to see what this candle does. This might indicate that this is turning around because it really did get some pretty good support from the 200 EMA in the pre-market. And now it's just coming up to some of these resistance areas where it was previously support that we lost in the pre-market. Meanwhile, ONMD not able to clear this 165 area that has been trying to recapture ever since it lost it in the pre-market. It's right above where VWAP was, but 3, now 4 times it's been unable to get and hold above 160, 165. So next support area for this one down at the 65 EMA. Another name I am keeping an eye on here. Oh, here we go. EOSE bounced off the 65 EMA, turned around. And I don't know how great this is going to be because it doesn't look like it's really got a whole lot of volume at the moment. It looks like it's doing pretty good, but there we go. Now we're getting some better volume. I just had to encourage it a little bit, you know. Let's see. What else do we have going on here? CRML still pushing higher. It looks like there's a seller in the way at 1280. So we are getting above that 1250 level. So we just finished that candle. Now we're going to want to see this act as support as the price continues to climb further into this consolidation from the pre-market. The real big part of it is going to start at about 1375, and that sideways consolidation more or less ends at about 1460.
Is this CRML?
This is EOSE.
Okay, I guessed based just on the price there, but good stuff. And by the way,
I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, you're right. It is CRSL. I accidentally just clicked it. That's what you said. So it is CRML. Yeah.
CRML. Okay, that makes sense here if it can get through VWAP. By the way, so far AMD is holding that VWAP 216.50, so that has worked so far. We'll see. Amazon pounded indeed. So Amazon keeps moving lower here. 217 might be the next possible bounce spot there. Just lost 218. SOPA, this was another one of the movers. It's not really doing a whole lot here. I'd like to see that volume increase. APLD getting mentioned by Tom. Tom, good morning. It's good to see you again.
I think
more continuation here. Good Lord.
Hold on a second. Give me 1 second here. I'm reading something that because I just noticed that NAK is moving, and there's some news this morning regarding the court case. So give me 1 second to look and see if this has anything to do with it.
You do what you need to do. I'm going to keep looking through stuff here. SPRB looks like this is open now as this is trading. CRML did pull back to the VWAP. We'll see if it can hold that there. SPRB this is going to halt. This is halted actually. On my screen, this is halted right now. 39.13 SPRB. That little dip back down to that pre-market low area. Boy, that launched it again, halted again. Tom, I'm happy for the Chicago Bears too when they don't play, because when they don't play, it means that they can't lose. We'll see how they do this upcoming Monday, a week from today.
So the Northern Dynasty Minerals, the company ticker NAK, they have looks like on Friday they filed a summary judgment brief in the Alaska Federal Court to summarize the what's it called? The veto. The EPA veto is illegal.
Okay.
I'd have to dig into this some more, but I think this is what the news is moving on. I think this is going to try and remove the EPA veto. So, and they believe they have a strong case. So this could get going here. Something to watch for. Keep your eyes on this one, or at least to have this on a watch list, because this is the whole thing why this came crashing down, because it was losing that court battle. It happened earlier this year. I can't remember the exact what had happened exactly, but it was over the decision to prevent this company from developing their mine in Alaska. I'll come back to you with some more information on this. Keep an eye on this one, because if this filing does what it's meant to do, this might be moving up a lot more.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lion agrees with you. He says this is going higher.
Yeah, this is what we needed to wait for. We needed this information. We need this whole veto, this EPA veto, to get lifted. I still think there's a an issue with the Army Corps of Engineers, but this EPA hurdle is, I think, the biggest one. And once we're past this, then I think this is probably going to end up doing really, really well. So make sure you keep an eye on this one. I think this is setting up to blast off.
Okay. CRML Super is asking for a support area. Now that we've taken out the VWAP here, I got to think this should act as support. 1269. We'll see.
At 1250 area. So the 1250 area was the resistance area that I was talking about when we were open, and now we've got above that. So 1250 is going to be support now. It's a resistance turn support. We want to see this continue to climb higher, but the next resistance area we're coming into right now, and the real thick of this resistance is going to be from like I said earlier, 1375 to 1460. It seems to me like that's about where the real thick parts are. So getting through that almost $1 area could be a little treacherous for this stock with the volume kind of waning right now. Okay. But the current support area that, I don't know how well it'll hold, but it's above VWAP, but that 1250 area is what I'd be watching for us.
Yeah, that sounds good. Izzy saying, Ryan, any trades? No day trades yet, boss. Did trim some Ondas calls off this pump higher. And remember, I do have, as far as ONDS call goes, I do have more good till cancel trim sell orders put out there. First one is at 12. Next one is at 15. I don't know if they get filled here today, but I'm telling you what they are ahead of time.
SPRB, I think either just unhalted or it halted and when right. No, okay. So what do you have for halts?
No, this has been halted. This re-halted at 39.13. Okay. This was halted here. I don't have the time because the signals thing is a little bit delayed around the open. But this has been in a halt for a couple of minutes now.
Okay.
And actually, here we go. This was halted 4 minutes ago. As of the last print in my time in sales, 4 minutes ago.
Okay. So, and is that the first or second?
This would be the second halt, I think.
Okay, so that one probably not going to be done in 5 minutes. It'll probably be more like 15, I think. For a second halt, that's a 15-minute.
I don't know. I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
No
SPRB here halted to the upside, 39.13 currently. That halt has been in place for over 4 minutes at this point.
Looks like we got a pull here in EOSE after hitting 15.18. Wow, so many of these names that I just did not expect to do good are doing good today.
Yeah, it's a second halt. Thank you, that's double O Henry. The O Henry candy bar, 2 of them. That sounds good. Okay, it's a second halt. It occurred at 8:37 Central on 9:37 Eastern. That's correct. That's what I have. That matches my information as well. You know what I am noticing here, though? Market did pull. So 13, you were kind of talking about that when we were talking about the general market there. Here we go. Here's your SPY. So we pulled off those pre-market highs. This took with it Apple, Amazon, Costco, PayPal, Rocket Mortgage getting slammed down to 17. Boy, oh boy. Glad we sold some of that higher.
Folks are mentioning that Robinhood is not working for them.
Like the broker itself is not working?
Yeah, and you know what? Now Robinhood, I'm seeing that their stock is in decline.
My, good mention. Tyler here says, I have open trades I need to close and my account is frozen. Oh, Tyler, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, geez.
Oh, no.
I wish I could offer some more encouragement.
Me too.
I don't want to tell you what to do with your account, but I think you're doing the best you can, trying to get this done so you can close your accounts that you don't want to have open while this happens. I totally get that. I hope this gets resolved for you soon, guys.
Me too. Look, this is what I've always said about Robinhood from when it first came out here. The inability to close open positions that you want to close is no bueno any way that you slice it. I would not wish this on anybody. Tyler, anyone else affected by this. I hope you're able to get some control here pretty soon. Brim for breakfast saying that my Weeble is also laggy. Joe Sue confirming Robinhood, same issues since the open. Okay. Mine is not working either, says Supri. Okay, it seems like several of you seeing the exact same problem here. I think that's more than just a temporary glitch there.
There's a stock, it's a SPAC that Andy and I were talking about, and it's doing really good. Remember that one, GSRT?
GSRT, I sure do.
Some folks talked about it on here too. So I think anybody that picked that one up, that was pretty good. This is going to be like a similar SRM type company. It's like modular nuclear reactors. This one having a nice. I mean, this thing had a big move down. I think it was. I don't remember what the news was, but had a big buying opportunity because man, it went down to 882, and now it's trading. It was just trading over 11 a moment ago.
Producer, thank you for posting that. I'll see if we get any more information there on Robinhood. I just took a look here at the Twitter streets just to see if I don't see. Yep, here we go. Options alarm. Robinhood appears to be offline and inaccessible. Okay, not a great thing to report there. If I could help you folks, I would. I will continue to repeat information that I see as it crosses the wire. But for those of you wondering, the only piece of advice, you're going to have to call them at some point.
Amazon really coming in. Was there news tied to that?
Let me take a look here. I know we had talked a little bit about this here earlier. Here's your Amazon chart. Boy, 216, your new lows here. Let's see if we had any news on this. I don't have any direct fresh news on this.
Oh, what a rebound.
This is why so are you talking about on Amazon?
Yeah.
So this is why I'm always asking, when we're in the midst of a free fall here, I'm always asking, where's the next possible support? Because Amazon is no stranger to bounce violently like this. This was a 50-cent bounce in like 3 seconds.
Next support's 200-day SMA.
There's no direct line for Robinhood customer support. They have to call you back.
Uh-oh. Well...
And Voodoo, sorry for interrupting you, 13. Voodoo, this is a good question. Is there any speculative news on Hood regarding a possible cyber attack? I have not seen that at all. And I got the producer. He's looking for us too. He has not seen that either. So I don't want to make guesses that I have no evidence for at all. Voodoo, I have not seen that.
Yeah, I don't know. But Amazon, this is looking pretty bearish. I think this could end up losing the 200-day SMA. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but it just looks like it's going to happen. Like maybe later this month, maybe later this week.
How about Tesla? Tesla here, this is actually having a pretty good morning. Tesla, if we retake 450 here, what was that last spot that we had when Tesla made its last run here? I do think 450 might actually send Tesla higher here. Have that recent recent resistance area up there at 470. I haven't noticed anything crazy from the unusual options here on Tesla. I'll keep you posted if I see that, but Tesla here seems to be kind of bucking. It's pulling off that high a little bit. And our Apple also on the lows right now. Bitcoin also pulling back.
If Bitcoin's pulling back, then Tesla's value is going to come in a little bit because they're a big holder of Bitcoin. But for Tesla, I think it's really just a matter of the 20-day SMA because it's been getting support from that moving average for a little while now. It really had some big support come in on Friday when I think it almost literally bounced right off it. So that 20-day SMA is, I think, what I'd be keeping an eye on. We start closing underneath that. I think we're going to make our way to the 50.
Okay. Tesla pulling back now.
And then Apple as well. Apple, it's trying to hold above a trend line here, but I think I would kind of go with the same thing here. 20-day SMA in this one too. Okay,
so here we go. So Amanda, one of our resident security experts. Good morning, Amanda. The outage would be across brokers if the hack was the case. So it doesn't look like that's the case. Again, I still haven't seen any information on that as well. And then here, A1 saying I'm getting updates still, but they can't get the site up. Okay. SPRB is open, move lower. Actually, it moved higher to 47.30, and now it's moved back down to 39.81. This is going to halt to the downside.
There it is. Halted.
13 halted to the downside after a huge pump higher.
SOPA, this popped up to that 350 level and then backed off. I don't know how much more. I don't know what we're going to end up getting out of this, but it's just kind of continuing sideways from all the pre-market levels. I mean, we're still in the sideways consolidation. We haven't really left it yet, so could continue to go back and forth. Which honestly, if it does that, and it's not going to change, and this is going to be probably one of the easier ones to trade.
Amanda here saying it's Monday morning. They likely deployed some junk over the weekend and are scrambling to roll it back. Yep. Amanda's probably onto something. I noticed last night when I logged into my Thinkorswim broker that there was a substantial update, and I've noticed it's actually changed the way some of the things look here today for the better. And knock on wood, Amanda, so far my Thinkorswim broker hasn't had any trouble. I've had filled orders and everything, so I seem to be okay here. But you're right on that. That might be the case. Amazon is turning around. Izzy, is this a tradable bottom? Is it in?
CRML is approaching that 1460 area. Might be getting our first red candle of this regular session, but this one had that support from the 65 EMA. After it broke through it found that support, and it's continued higher, trying to get through this consolidation. So looking for a move up to 1460, if not a break through that area, which would be the next big resistance I'd be looking at.
Chris saying Robinhood was back up. Clear your cash and log back in. Chris, any support tips that you think would help, we will take that. Thank you, Chris, for sharing that with the group here. And there was another question I wanted to really quickly answer here real fast. Let me see if I can go back up there and find it. We had a lot going on there, so I probably lost it there a little bit. Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I can't find it. Anyway, here we go, found it. J Options Trading. Are you mainly trading penny stocks? So I guess we have probably a different definition here. We consider, or at least I consider, penny stocks, actual stocks that are in pennies, that meaning less than $1. I generally don't trade those at all unless it's a long-term thesis that I've researched, so on and so forth. I know a lot of people consider penny stocks under $5. And yes, when we look at the movers list, new PRs, stocks that are ramping, all of that stuff, I guess technically some of those would be considered penny stocks. But the reality, the main answer to your question, we trade anything around these parts. If you have something, if you have a setup, if you have something that you're interested in, let the group know. We often take a look at this stuff. So we have really no requirement. We generally stay away from OTC stuff because that's a little bit shady. And generally stuff that is under $1. But if there's something moving here that you want to take a look at, let us know.
Yep. Kathy mentioning Micron, and Izzy is saying that BZAI is scalpable.
Micron 200 prints. How's the rest of that storage trade going, by the way? Western Digital, ticker WDC. Okay, maybe a double top here. God, can we get that lucky? There's a short setup there if that ever materializes. STC, same thing here. Looks like 265, your top there. And then SDNK, SanDisk, was your other one here. All of these lower, interestingly enough. All of these putting in what looks like double top formations.
Well, those look like they're lower. I mean, Micron is still pushing.
Micron's
higher.
The one bucking it. I'm sorry. You're right. That was poorly said, 13.
And it looks like it's about to push. It could be pushing higher here pretty soon. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, the volume is really starting to fall out of this thing, but it really does need to come back in. I mean, maybe it goes. We were talking about how this could hit 200. I think it hit that already. It might even go to 220, but this thing is so extended. I really think it needs to come back in.
13. I have prints up to 201 this morning.
Jeez, it's super extended. I like this company. The moves it's had in too short of a period of time have been really, really outsized. I think it needs to come back in, and I still think it'll be a buy when it does.
Whew. Okay, told you we were going to have a busy week there. No lies detected.
Wow.
ONMD is moving. That was one of our movers from the list here. Yes, that did break that 160. Okay, so this is exactly what we talked about. If it can break 160, probably puts the 186-ish high in play. That is absolutely in play here.
Wow.
ETH is looking higher today. That's good for our ETHA trade. Sorry, 13.
It's all right. You know, Izzy, if you're right about that, if that rumor is true, that would be amazing.
Oh, like what is the rumor? Archer Tesla. What's the? Give us some more context on that rumor.
I don't know. I don't know what I mean, the fact that those two names together in the same sentence on a possible, on them possibly working together for whatever reason. Look, I've said it. I said it like I think maybe earlier this year or sometime last year. I think we're kind of beyond the full self-driving. I think we need to be looking at air mobility. That's more exciting to me at this point. Full self-driving. I'm kind of not buying it anymore. I think we just need to.
Gotcha.
We just need to be flying everywhere. Now I know that there's going to be a lot of hurdles to get over there, so don't think I'm thinking it's right around the corner. I don't.
Tesla's making an announcement tomorrow per Izzy. Tesla now has actually kind of reversed. We talked about that, maybe trading higher here. No bueno, at least so far. Here's your Tesla chart.
Wow. Marvell is also moving. Oklo ripping. Is that still doing its thing here? 14%. 15% actually, I think. Wow.
Here's your Oklo chart. Look at this. God, my goodness, 140. I hope nobody shorted this because I was also thinking like this has to come back in. No, it doesn't, or at least it doesn't have to make sense. More new highs here. OKLO.
A lot of big insider selling last week too. Like big insider selling. Unloading 67. Well, let's see, two different people. The founders unloading a total of 134 million in stock. But that's okay because it's it's going up. I'm sure. Let's look at SRM or SMR. I always get that next up. That's up 8%, and it's causing some really nice things with GSRT to happen, including new all-time highs.
GSRT, by the way, also appearing on the relative volume scanner here today. So nice little volume here off this rip. What a reversal this was from the 860 print in the pre-market on Friday.
That was such a viable dip.
Here we go. Amanda said, I closed Oklo Strangles last week. I will probably add short delta around 200.
Yeah, Brian, I think you're right about that. It will be a glorious short one day. No, I got you. Don't worry about the spelling. I got you, man.
We speak trader around here. We read right through those spelling errors. By the way, VIX also climbing here. 17 print on deck here for the VIX. Bitcoin also bouncing here. Looks like it's going to try 126 on the futures chart. Ethereum also moving higher.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope you got rested over the weekend.
Yeah,
I hope you're ready for this week because it no chill here. We just started on a Monday morning.
There's going to be a point today where I'm just going to like close my broker and contemplate about what we've seen today. It's fantastic.
Dow, by the way, at lows, and so is the S&P. 670 now on the SPY.
ONMD, we hit those levels.
Big B says, I love Amanda's option calls. Beautiful. Me too. And you know what else I love? I love that Amanda has really kind of taken to what Anne-Marie tries and teaches here all the time. Amanda has basically turned into another version of Anne-Marie and is with us here in the chat. Love that as well. MLTX, that was another one. By the way, ONMD did go to that high target there, actually broke above it now.
Yep. But hey, we got our print.
Now, this MLTX, the reason everyone's asking about this, you guys are all wondering if this can continue to bounce here, right? This thing fell out of bed from bad data here, 61 handle. We're now in a 9 handle, so I'm assuming that what everyone's looking at here is, can this continue higher? Folks, I don't know what the story holds here, but this is a massively beaten down stock, and a little bit of a regression back to the mean makes some sense here. I don't know if this is going to continue.
Getting a question if AMD is going to go under 200. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying it won't, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. It's it had a really big piece of PR come out, and that has created a massive gap. Now I don't know if we're going to get a floating island out of this. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what you think.
On
about
which
that.
one? Sorry,
AMD.
AMD.
I wouldn't think. I mean, I think it's more likely to kind of gap fill, but I don't want to say that that's going to happen either, because I don't know how much it's going to come in or how much it's going to continue to rip. We just hit, I think, the all-time highs in the pre-market.
Yeah. So here's my thought regarding this whole island thing. First of all, Supri, credit where credit is due, register ring. Folks, we're having a huge day here today. Let me know. Bharat said the AMD short printed for me. Bharat, that was a very near-term trade that you traded as of this morning, right? Just to be clear on that. Really good stuff from you. We'll give you a register ring as well. Here's what I'm looking at on AMD. The push today basically made a pretty nasty double top up here, 225, 226-ish. So for me, if we zoom in here and this ends up forming an island, okay, that's, watch that. But again, if we look to the left a little bit more, the island is pretty much negated by the fact that we have a pretty crisp double top here. So I would not play this the same way I would play a floating island that breaks to new highs and such. This also might kind of act as a pullback level. Dare I even say that? On a day like today, dare I even say that? That 226 looked like that might have been a pullback level. Bharat, I'd be curious to know where you hit that short there on this regression back to the mean. Basically just deleted the second leg we took in the pre-market.
I think I'd feel more comfortable if this came down to around 185. That seems like that would be some pretty decent support. Down, 180, 185, that seems like a pretty good spot to come down to. I'm not going to try and speculate where this goes because, for one, I like that we're getting this kind of movement. I'm in AMD. But so the other thing is that I don't want any of these names to be so extended that it leads to overselling. So I do want to see it, cool off, come back in, have the RSI cool off. It's over 80, so it still needs to come back in. But I don't want this to come back in too much. I think 180 to 185 looks pretty good for support.
All right. Really good stuff there. Bharat, I love this. Yes, I shorted AMD at the open because it was unable to break the pre-market high. Bharat, I love this because, first of all, you answered my question about where you shorted it, but also you threw in some thought on what you were looking at in the moment. So we saw this big push here. Market opened. AMD could not take out that pre-market high. That told Bharat the short was on. You got pretty good movement out of that. Really good stuff here, Bharat. Really appreciate that. Amanda here, I sold the 250 call on Amazon at the open and took $100 in 2 minutes. I'm looking to do the exact same trade in Micron, ticker MU. Love it, group. Absolutely love it out here today.
Yep. Having a great morning, everybody.
One sec, I got to stop the alarm sound that's being played.
No worries. So just kind of looking around here, seeing what these movers are doing. We have SOPA still going sideways in that channel. ONMD, that's still hanging out here above the pre-market high. It's trying to hold on to it anyway. Not liking these upper shadows, but if this comes down to, let's say, 170, 175 and finds support, I still think this might be able to come back up to that $2 area again. But we need to see that support kick in down around the 170s. CRML, this had a pull that took it down to the 65 EMA again, right down to that area where it was previously the resistance area I was looking at this morning. I think I said 1240 that was. We moved through that. So almost came down to that area. Didn't quite hit it yet, but that 65 EMA is still in that same area, providing some support. We're moving back up above VWAP at the moment. But I think this sideways consolidation area from the pre-market that provided that was providing resistance, about 20 minutes ago, that caused a little bit of a knife to happen. That's still going to be the big area to get through. We need to see some high volume expansion to get through that consolidation, or else we're going to get rejected again.
Okay. Really good stuff there. By the way, Supri was asking if SPRB is halted. Yes, this is in fact halted to the downside there. 33.40, your downside halt there. SPRB.
MELI. I'm looking at ET3. Wanted me to look at Melly. I don't like that this lost its 200 EMA. I'm sorry, SMA on the daily. So that's the first thing that stands out here, but it does have a pretty low RSI, and it does look like it's coming down to a support area. So I'd say from, it's going to be a pretty wide dollar amount that the support area that I see looks to be. It's to me, it looks like it's from 2000 to 2150. That's the support range that I see, and it's quite a big of a range. But I see what you're saying about this being pricey. So let me give me a second here.
Real quick, while you're doing that here, Zippity Doodah said Ryan Ondas was Grasso's final pick from Friday's Fast Money segment. I caught that. Funniest part about that, that's the second time Grasso has picked Ondas. Let me see if I can find you the date on that first one.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to MEL, I think I'd want to see that support area I mentioned hold up. And then following that, a recapture of the 200-day SMA. It's done this before where it's traded beneath it, and then it recaptured that SMA and went on to make new highs. So it's it could certainly happen again with this, but I think that's the process that needs to happen first. Need that support between 2,000 and 2150 to kick in, recapture that 200-day SMA, and then there's that consolidation that's at about 2,300 that they're going to have to deal with next. But those are the sequence of events I would have to see for me to think that this is going to turn around and go higher.
Really quickly here, SPRB is open and trying to move lower here. I've got that at $31. Also, one thing to mention here, Zippity Doodah, it was August 27th that Steve Grasso picked Ondas on Fast Money the first time. I know he did it again there on Friday. He also picked Fubo, according to Izzy. That's good stuff there as well.
ET3, you're saying lower trend is showing lower downside line of about 1913. So what's interesting about that is that that's right about where the 500-day SMA is. So I would say, if it goes down there, great. Like I don't disagree with your level at all. I think that's absolutely a support level. I guess I'm kind of more concerned about what the price action would look like that would take it lower or whatnot. I mean, maybe there's an attempt to recapture the 200 that fails and it takes it down to the 500. So that's certainly a scenario that could happen too. But your 1913 area, I don't think that's a bad level at all. If it gets down there, maybe that's a great buy spot. So we'll see what we end up getting. Yep, no problem, dude. Absolutely.
Okay, really good stuff here today, folks. SPRB, that's still holding here about $30, $31. SOPA, this is basically trading sideways, although it's still above its VWAP so far. CRML, the other one that we talked about, that was actually a decent move on the way back to the VWAP, as well as a little bit of extension there. 14 seems to be in play here.
ONMD, this is down at a support area, 170. So going to need to see this get turned around here if we're going to see any more upside beyond 2. Otherwise, we're going to go on to lose VWAP. I don't know, where do you have your VWAP with ONMD?
164.
Okay, mine's at 166, so right about the same area.
Right in the same area there, yep.
Yeah. Got to hold up here, or we're going to come down to this consolidation from the pre-market, and that's going to make 160 be the next support area. All right, so it looks like PRB is trying to get some support from the 3150 area. This kind of looks like the price action is broadening following that big upside move that we got while we were still talking about this. I don't want to say that this is kind of forming a megaphone pattern, which would be bullish. I just don't feel that way with the way the volume looks right now. So, don't think that we're going to, just suddenly turn around and rally, even though it looks like that's sort of what it's trying to set up to do. This could come right back in. The momentum is really leaving this thing, and the pattern that appears to be emerging may not get the resolution that it typically gets, but we'll see. If it's going to break to the upside and turn around from here, it'll probably end up being going higher into the 50s. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. You can chalk it up with one of the stupid levels if you want.
Thinking about it was saying GSRT, who was mentioning this stock for weeks and weeks here? I forgot who, but thanks. I think it was you thinking about it. I know 13 also talked about it. I think that's what he's hinting at here. He's a fairly humble individual, so he's not saying me, but I think that's what's going on here. Nonetheless, great to see it.
Yeah, if it was him, hey, thanks a lot for that. Because I don't know if it was him or not. I thought And if it was, thank you. But if it wasn't, I know what you're talking about because I couldn't remember who it was either. Because I thought I saw maybe more than one person mentioning this. But if you did mention this, thanks for bringing it up. I appreciate it.
Barat saying, Ryan and 13, what do you think of LAC? So obviously this has the potential government stake. This is obviously in the lithium sector that we've kind of been discussing here. Given the impulse move that it's had, I would kind of want this to maybe settle, maybe trade back to a support level. We've got 740 and 803 marked off. That was from a pre-market range that it made a few days prior. Yep, that's going to be right here from the pre-market and the after hours range from September 30th into October 1st. Let's see if we hold this area here. Otherwise, it looks like today's pre-market double top area here, 978. I'd kind of like this to come back into a support.
Yeah,
thank you. You know what? Story trading has been on GSRT for months. That's probably also where we're getting some of this from. They've been awesome. The story trading folks have been awesome there. In fact, I hope the Godfather is able to catch that clip with the DPRO interview here this morning.
Lithium Americas, I do see an area down, between 8 and 815 that could be some support. So, if it does come back in, it's kind of where I think I'd be looking for support. But this thing really extended, and it did that that government stake ever happen yet? I mean, there's talk, and then
there was talk about it. There was some other news. I don't think that actually happened.
I just would be wondering if that action or if that talk moved beyond action and ended up happening.
One of the insiders there sold 3.36 million in shares.
Your interview from last week, what's the company name? ACO Holdings, Orbs.
That wasn't my interview.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because that's that we're trying to get him. That's Dan Ives. Who this is Dan. This used to be Octo, and then this is the orbital scanner. This is the Dan Ives deal. We're still trying to get him here.
I thought he was on last week or something.
Not with us. Maybe he was. Dan Ives is on quite a bit, but he was not on with us. We're still trying to secure that.
Yeah, maybe there was somebody else talking about Orbs, but anyway, this higher than when that interview was happening last week. So just thought I'd point that out.
Okay.
AMD giving back a lot of the gains. Yeah, it's probably gonna.
Yep, that's why we're. Oops, excuse me. That's why we're all talking about Barat short earlier. Really good move there.
Very, very extended move. Congratulations, though, for anybody that's an AMD and made some profit on that. Oops, that's something I wanted to do. So SPRB trying to turn around here. I mean, if it does turn around here and start going higher into the 40s, man, this megaphone pattern, I can't believe it actually working.
Yeah, it was Peter and David. They were talking about from the Thursday Futures Forward segment. Peter knows Dan, and I guess that's probably who it was. Okay, we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, that's who it was.
SPRB. This is in fact back above its VWAP. I'm probably going to stay away from this because I don't need a really great day turned into a scary day because I muck it up.
Yeah, folks. I mean, if you're sitting on some pretty awesome gains and you're looking for something to trade, but nothing's looking great. Hey, let's not force anything and lose what we've made. This has been a great morning, and
sure has.
A lot of these names, the volume does come back later on in the day. But for now, we are about 18 minutes away from when it begins to leave, or really starts to leave. So let's not get caught in these low volume situations. We'll have our moment again later on today.
IONQ getting mentioned here. Oh my, this. More quantum runs here. IONQ.
Is it time to hit those names now?
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm at the point now. Here's IONQ. This is actually coming up to another double top area here. I'm definitely interested in playing a regression back to the mean, but I have very low confidence in that trade given what these names have done recently. I mean, it's incredible action.
EOSE. It looks like this might come into the 65 EMA, but just watching that current candle that it's in right now, see if it recaptures VWAP. If it does, this might be trying to turn around here. CRML, we're going to get some new session highs here, but it's still working its way through this pre-market consolidation. So there we go, new regular session highs. Still looking for this to go all the way up to 1460. That's where I think the top end of that consolidation is. ONMD trying to turn around as well. SOPA, this just lost a 65 EMA. I think this could come in lower. Next support area I see prior to the 200 EMA on the 5-minute is going to be 250.
Love this. Tencent just made 3K on Apple calls. Ring that register, nice. Baby. Apple, really nice bounce off that pull. I know Amazon bounced. Apple a little bit better there. Will mentioning BMNR. I actually think this might launch given the daily chart.
And Izzy's mentioning Archer up. Certainly it is. This thing is having a nice morning. It's had a really nice Friday as well. Getting a little extended here. That's concerning to me. Still, it looks like this may end up going into the 13 handle before it runs into some resistance. So that's ACHR. That's what it looks like it could do to me. You know what? Give me 1 second here. I think I see a bit of a trend line. It's not really steep, but if you use the May high with the July high from this year, that's going to give you about 1350 as a resistance area, or a breakout spot. Could be either one, but that's where the trend line. That's what the trend line indicates that this may end up going to 1350. And BMNR, look at that thing.
Yeah, here's what this is. The daily chart here on BMNR. Come on charts, not a weekly. Here's your daily 13. Look at this. Tell me if you put any stock into this. We've got this trend line that has absolutely been held, and we kind of look like we have a little bit of compression going here. Oh my God, what is wrong with my drawing tools? What is wrong with this? So just kind of looking at this, to me, it sure looks like BMNR trying to maybe break out of this little wedge here and go higher.
Let me think about what I'm seeing here with this for a second.
Oh, sorry about my nose here, folks.
Part of me wants to think that this is is trading into kind of an ascending triangle. I'm not sure I want to make that claim though. So let's go with where the last time that we saw this thing get resistance. We're at that area now, but it's actually a little bit higher in the $64 area. So back in September, we were up at this area. Was facing some selling pressure. Of course, I don't know the exact news, but I think maybe all of these treasury names started turning downward in the middle of September. But this is coming up to an area where there has been selling. It was 70 previously, and this past September it was in the 64, 65 area. I don't know if we're going to end up getting that or not. We would need some bigger volume to get through those sellers. And
Jeremy here mentioning BMNR tied directly to Ethereum. Indeed, it is. And actually, I'm long Ethereum right now via ETHA. So I'd love to see that. No position yet on BMNR. You guys also mentioning AMD. Yeah, there's some definite big wicks here. I wasn't obviously watching this in real time. I see these wicks here. Are these phantom prints or did it actually print up there?
Yeah, when it comes to BMNR, I think we're going to have to break over this trend line. I think you drew it from the August through the September highs. Yeah, you did. I think we're going to have to get through that trend line this week and stay above it. Because if we don't, then I think we're going to come right back down to the 20-day SMA. Okay.
We'll see. We are pretty much right there. ETHA was the other Ethereum stock that I was mentioning. I told you about this last week, yesterweek, I almost said there. This to me looks like this is about to break 36 and go higher. I'm long the December 40 calls here on ETHA. That is up almost 3% here today.
Looks like NAC is about to try and push higher. We've got some resistance earlier this morning on the 160, maybe say the 160 to 165 area. So coming back up to that level right now, see if it breaks through. It's going to need more volume if it's going to do that, though. A lot of these names that were moving, they're all kind of coming in. So party might be over for a little while, but I think that these names aren't going to be done for the day. Some might, most probably won't. They'll just come back later on.
SPY so far has held 669.50. Dow is still near the lows. SPY is trying to bounce a little bit. Ondas also pulling back here a little bit. For me, no worry here. Remember, I actually did trim some more calls and the move up right out of the open. Still have the open order there at 12 to trim some more stock. We'll see if we end up getting that. But pretty good morning here so far. Yeah.
And as great as this morning's been, this is a week where a lot of foreign markets in Asia are closed. So we're probably going to get a lot less volume throughout the week until maybe Thursday or Friday when they start to open again. So just keep that in mind. This could be an illiquid market, and we could see some really outsized moves to the upside, kind of like how we got today. We got some pretty big outsized moves to the downside because of the lack of liquidity as a result of those markets being closed. So just something to keep in mind this week.
Okay.
10 minutes for brunch. I like it.
LAC here. This is now trying to move back above its VWAP. I've got maybe 950 and then 980 as the next levels there. That's LAC. Was SOPA mentioned today? Yes, that was on our list earlier. Crocodile dumb me.
Smell is correct. The China markets open back up on Thursday.
Hey. Tesla, that did bounce off of the 437 level. That's a pretty decent bounce there. Apple, a nice intraday move. Tenzin, you were talking about the Apple calls earlier. What was the catalyst to buy there? Why did you think Apple was going to, just because of the rest of everything else? You guys seeing more of that wicking action there on AMD? I've got 3 5-minute candles here. Let's see what it looks like on the one. On the 1 minute, I've got 4 1-minute candles.
It's the liquid. I mean, if these are actual prints, I'm just finished mentioning how the liquid, how more liquid this market could be as a result of foreign traders not being engaged. If these are real prints, then I would maybe tie it to that. Not just phantom prints like we were kind of thinking they might be.
Yeah, I actually wasn't watching it in real time. The hourly chart pattern was your cue on Apple, Tenzin. First of all, I appreciate the answer there. Let's see if I can figure it out.
Tess is mentioning CoreWeave.
Yeah, I guess I would need some more context there. I still think Apple tries and breaks 260 though.
Okay, so PD Keat is saying that he's on Trade Zero and doesn't have those wicks. So it's whoever is the chart provider is probably doing that for a lot of. It's probably TradingView then maybe.
Marcus, you are not shadow banned. Nobody here has the addition to shadow ban anybody. If you are unable to join, that means you are actually banned. Otherwise, you are absolutely not. We do not do that around here. We don't even have the means to do that around here.
EOSE still trying to climb, albeit on low volume.
Take care of yourself, Lion.
Take care, Lion. Have a good one.
Yo, Marcus, you were mentioning Roblox here. That's another one that we had talked about having maybe some potential problems and some potential more downside. We briefly mentioned this a little bit when we talked about Reddit earlier. I beg your pardon. See where we're looking at.
We were talking about this potentially having more downside in early September and late August. So this kind of squeezed a little bit higher before we got this rollover. I don't know what this recent downside move is from, but if it's from the lawsuits that are being filed, not surprised.
Roblox here so far, this on the daily chart here is in fact holding the 65 EMA. To my eye here, it sure looks like 120 is a support area. Your next level down there, 112.
I do like that 120 area.
Yeah. Here we go. Marcus agrees. 120, 121, 122 resist, and then the resist levels 125, 127, 130.
Hey, I'm looking for a loss of 114. Once that starts to happen, I think this could really begin to come in. We do have that 200-day SMA down at 88.52. I don't believe that's a bad target, but I think that may be a little bit longer out. If we do get this break beneath 114, to me, it looks like 100 to 105 is going to be a support area.
Chester says, I like AIP. I don't think we've looked at that one here today. I read that as AP, and I was like, oh, what Audemars Piguet do you like? That's, of course, not what he was referring to. Okay, AIP. This is actually a pretty good one. We must have had news on this earlier. This actually is taking out the pre-market high as we speak right now, and that was after a dip right at the open. We don't have any news here. What on earth is going on with this one?
AIP. While you're looking at that, I'll pull up AIP too, but I'm just looking at SPRB, and this is still trying. It's trying to get hold above the VWAP right now. It just moved above it with this current candle, but 10 seconds left until it closes. AIP, on the other hand, this is software. What do they do? Semiconductor system IP.
Yeah, I don't have, this is not one that I follow at all. I don't have any line on this one.
This might be a space play.
It's significant resistance area here that it's trying to break. Yeah, this is pretty significant. I think this entire area probably goes up to 15.
Yeah, I think this might be a play on space networks or potentially space data centers. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty. I do think this. They have a program called Nano Explorer. It's for space applications. That's why I'm thinking this might be a space play. I don't know really anything about this company. I'm just kind of thinking as I read here, but it seems like this might have to do with softwares for space, for space technologies and applications and whatnot. So that would be really interesting and something I should probably add to my space watch list if that's the case.
Derives most of its profit from the Asia Pacific region. Smoke Tunas thinks this is going for 15 plus here.
Okay, well, that's not too far away.
Nope.
And here we go, SPRB. I swear we're going to get this broadening wedge, aren't we? All right, don't be surprised if this goes to 50. If we're about to halt here, I think this could be one of those. You know how it seems like every day there's always some weird halter.
Yeah,
just kind of goes on a halt fest for no reason. Don't know if this is going to be the one, but you know what? With a 550,000 share float, it certainly could be.
Regarding the possible space theme for AIP that we were just talking about, N here says, LOL, poor technician having to go to space to unplug and plug back in the router. Oh, that made me laugh. Muhammad's asking, what chat is he reading messages in? Muhammad, we read them from all of them. Twitch, X, and YouTube here. A lot of the chatters talking back and forth with one another come from either Twitter or YouTube.
So here you go. And if that's the case, because it hilariously could be, let's look at space solenoids so that they can literally physically unplug it and plug it back in without sending anybody up there.
And this SPRB, this is halted here at 41, isn't it? 41.44.
It is halted.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Oh man, this is gonna be hilarious if this starts to run again. Oh,
Webcoin says, I scalped this at $14. Annoyed. I feel that.
Hey, you know what? Look, you made money, right?
As long as you didn't lose on this, that's the worst feeling. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't worry. I've been on that side before too. Like, oh yeah, I did so well, and then it continues to rip. Like, oh, I should have stayed in. Don't feel bad about that. You made your money when you looked at it, when you saw it, and you saw the trade. You did it right. The trade worked, and I think that's the big takeaway. And maybe you'll take this down in your trading journal if you keep one about what you did, what you didn't do, and maybe next time when you have something like this, you'll maybe keep a little piece on, just to see what it does with a stop, so you don't lose anything. Just some things that you can try going forward, but don't ever feel bad from missing out on something you had previously successfully traded. Nice unpopular truth. He made some money. Sometimes you'd rather lose than scalp small. Okay.
I don't think there's ever a time where I would rather have less money. I don't think that's part of the equation.
You're allowed to ask what else is in my space watch list? Sure, you can.
Actually, we can give that to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty big list. But, of course, ASTS is in there. Black Sky, now Firefly Aerospace is in there as well. But also Iridium, Cooler, Intuitive Machines. Do you want me to just send you the list here?
Yeah, the problem is that if I copy it and paste it, it's not going to look correct in the chat. I'm going to have to work on. I mean, maybe the producer can help us with that. I don't know.
So I'll just name them off. Of course, Planet Labs, Redwire, Rocket Lab, Satellogic, EchoStar, Sidus Space, Sirius, Virgin Galactic, Spire Global, Trimble, Pure Space ETF, which is UFO. That's the space UFO. ETF. Voyager, VSAT, Viasat, and WiseKey. I also have MDA Space in there as well, but that's an OTC. And Momentous. Sorry, I think I missed that one. And these are some of these are, you're probably wondering to yourself, well, how come like Boeing and Lockheed and some of these other these are more of the not massive names. These are more of the smaller names, or the up and comings, or some of the names that are still trying to get going. Like Rocket Lab is one name that I really like, that I think they're going to grow into their valuation, but it's kind of overvalued a little bit. But a lot of these names are, but I think a good number of them are going to grow into their valuations. So it'll just take time.
Real quick here, clever name here from our ex-user, Dr. Ben Dover. LOL. Haha Gotcha is the king of trading. Do you follow that dude? I'll do you one better. Haha Gotcha is a supporter of Benzinga Pro. I've been talking to that guy for a long time. I communicate with him via email. So yes, I absolutely do. He is incredible, and been in the Benzinga ecosystem for a long time. His most recent play that you were talking about is LASE. Did really well with that one. We actually talked about LASE after that. So yes, definitely love Haha Gotcha. You've actually seen him post in the happy hour chat, 13.
Oh, okay. When was the last time he was in?
Last week, I think.
Okay, I think I remember that. Is he going to come back?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I would assume so. I don't know who this X person is here this morning. Good morning, Shannon. Good to see you. Another former pro member. Love to see it.
Shannon.
Etsy has very bad news, says Webcoin. Oh, EFTY. Excuse me. That's my fault. That's my fault. EFTY. Looks like this is halted here. Halted news pending. This was from Friday. What's the news?
This doesn't seem to move very much. It trades every day. It doesn't even look like it's very old. It's IPO'd in August. Is that what happened? Let's see here. Yeah, IPO'd in August. $4 a share. What does it do? What's a question that we got with this, by the way?
For which one? Sorry.
EFTY.
Webcoin said it had very bad news, and I saw that it was halted.
I see that there's news pending. I don't see what the news is. If you have insight onto what that news is, I think we'd be curious to know. Oh, here we go. I think I didn't notice this. Okay, hold on. They suspended trading of this for the period of October 6th through October 17th on stock manipulation via social media. Uh-oh. So this isn't moving right now, and that's because they said they suspended trading. So I'm sure that on October 17th, this will probably open much lower.
When is it going to open? Does it tell you when it's supposed to open?
Yes. So the SEC suspended trading of this from October 6th through 11:59 p.m. October 17th. So it looks like on October 18th will be the next day that it is allowed to trade publicly again.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for flagging that. I don't know, what to do with this right now since it's a little bit further out. But this is something that we can mark on a calendar and look at later. What is that date, by the way? The 17th and 18th. That's going to be okay. So that's basically it's going to So it's going to be the 20th that it'll be able to trade again. The 17th is a Friday.
By the way, real quick, you guys are talking about ONMD here. This did move to new highs there. Grats for anyone that was on that. That is moving. Real quick here, we had the deal with Fifth Third Bank this morning. I just figured, in case any of you were wondering about that, I did ask Tim. Tim said Fifth Third's one of the best run banks in the industry, and this creates a powerhouse banking franchise. This would not have even been possible during Obama and Biden. Lots to unpack, but overall, he likes the deal. We can ask Tim a follow-up question on that if you want on Wednesday when we have him on. But that's the Fifth Third deal this morning.
Joseph Schmo, who did you ask specifically about quantum computing being commercially viable? Because whoever you're talking about said his estimate was within 3 years, which in his opinion is becoming a more widely accepted estimate. I don't know who you're referring to, but I think that that's correct. I think quantum is much closer than people realize, or at least being able to commercially use it. And it's probably not going to. It's not going to be the logic or the gate logic quantum computing that is like the holy grail or anything. But we're not at general AI yet commercially either, and we're putting trillions into narrow AI. So yeah, I can absolutely see that. Please let me know who this person is, because I think I agree with whoever you're talking to there.
Uber at the highs there. Good stuff. Izzy. Bloomberg Voyager bringing AI to space. That's ticker VOYG, right? That's the Voyager that you're referencing there, Zach. Mark is looking for a lift bounce off the 2175 support. That lift flag on the daily actually looks pretty decent.
We have Starship test flight 11 launching next week. Don't have an exact date, but the window for that opens on, I believe, the 13th, next Monday, a week from today. So looking for some more fireworks. This will be the last of the Block 2s. And it looks like SPRB just opened, and it opened higher. And we're approaching that 4730, trying to get up to that level and break through it. If it does, I think we'll see 50.
This is wild. You even did say that early. Shannon says Ryan's got a sniff nose. Me too. I hate it. It's all the air conditioning. It was like 90 degrees over the weekend here in October in Chicago, and I have air conditioning on inside, and it's hot out, and my nose is not cooperating at all. I'm sorry that you guys hear it. I'm doing my best to keep it under control.
SPRB, it did get almost to that 4730 area, pulled a little bit, filled that gap to the downside. Still not done yet. Let's see if we get a move through that 4730 that takes us up to 50. This is wild. It's very, very spready too. This looks like it's got almost $1 spread.
Yeah, it's been crazy all day. This has been too hard to trade, at least for me.
But yeah, it looks like the Voyager is trying to turn around. It is trying
SPRB, this is I don't want to make a preemptive halt call here, but this totally reversed off of that 4730 intraday high.
Mm-hmm.
IVVD.
clean your vents.
So how do you do that? I mean, I have like my HVAC system inspected on a pretty regular basis. Do I need to do something else to have the vents cleaned?
Well, I think he might be referring to the filter if you have access to that.
Yeah, I do. And I replaced that with like an allergen filter, and it's helped. Maybe I need a new one. I feel like I just replaced it less than a month ago, though. Anyway.
A year will go by fast. I just replaced mine this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the habit of replacing them every couple of months.
Oh, I don't think you need to do it that often.
I didn't think so either. I didn't think so either. CRML, this did come back into the VWAP and held above it. I don't know if this is going to return to 14, but that would be one of the levels to take a look at. Producers thrown up a poll here, new YouTube poll. What do you think the Tesla announcement will be tomorrow? A new affordable model, a new GPU, Tesla Roadster, or something else? Remember, we had a rumor there regarding Archer possible with Tesla. Yeah, every 3 months. I should be good on it, Izzy. I should be good on it. You know, the one thing about Ondas with that getting mentioned on Fast Money, you might have just a general higher population of flippers, or maybe not even flippers, but shorter term traders in there. So I would actually expect some volatility the more that gets mentioned on Fast Money.
Oh, let me get. Oops, hold on a second. Parker's. I'll get to CCC X in a bit. I was waiting for this. Reply from Joseph Schmo. Let me see. Let me go back and see if we mentioned who this was.
So you guys are talking about the Tesla here might be Archer based. Marcus here, I agree with this. I would bet that Tesla announces a price break to make up for the loss of the tax credit. That tracks, Marcus. I would be entirely unsurprised. But there seems to be a lot of rumors floating around there about this whatever announcement having something to do with Archer.
Okay, so so you don't have the name of him, but he calls himself Vic, and people are kind of more coming to the realization that quantum is much closer than realized because of the different advancements that have been made in quantum computing that we're actually seeing right now. See, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's really hard for me to think that we're decades away from this when something that we can actually companies can use to profit from are already being tested and built and used. And without getting into it, I don't think we're decades away at all. We're just a handful of years from what I think the kind of the situation that we're seeing here right now with AI. We're not at the end game yet with that.
Yeah, no way.
And I think we're going to see some kind of similar capital flows into quantum at some point in the next year or so, maybe 2 or 3 years. As soon as they have their chat GPT moment, quantum, as soon as that happens to where quantum is available to the masses and people start realizing its uses, I think we're much closer than decades.
Sean here, appreciate this. I asked Grok and Chat GPT about the Tesla rumors. The consensus were a cheaper Model Y, significant updates to full self-driving, and maybe something about battery tech. Obviously, new product possible, Archer possible. So a number of things in there. We'll see what we get from Tesla. Place your bets. Place your bets on Tesla. Jay says market cap's way too high in quantum, in my opinion. That's kind of my thought too, Jay. But I'm still looking for a spot to really time that regression back to the mean. CRML wants to take out the top. That high area, indeed, that area right up here, what, 430-ish?
CRML, 1430-ish?
1430 is, what did I say, 4? Sorry.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. I think we need to, I want to see the print above 1420 because it's kind of putting in a little bit of a bearish pattern. I want to make sure that it breaks that formation so it can go higher. I would really like to see a move over 1450, but 1440 I think is the spot right now that is in question.
I'll tell you what, whoever called ONMD, that was pretty important. This thing pulled back to a 9 EMA and immediately bounced.
Yeah, if it's manages to get through 220, which is my next resistance area, I do see there's a large seller at 216 right now. But if that gets taken out, I don't have another resistance level until 285. Looks like EOSE. This looks like it double topped and may end up rolling over here. I think this this 1430, 1440 area. This is going to be one of the last areas of support before this really starts to sell off. You do have the 65 EMA and the 200 EMA beneath it, but I think this 1445 area really looks important. It needs to hold up. So if we lose that, I think this is going to continue to sell. That's EOSE. And here we go. So SPRB is not getting back up to the top of that wedge yet. As a matter of fact, it might be double topping.
That's SPRB, huh?
Yeah.
That does kind of look like a double top, to be quite honest with you. Tesla is going. Let's take a look here at Tesla. I actually took my eye off this option scanner. By the way, EOSE, 2,000 calls bought here. These are the 1250 calls. I almost wonder if that was a closing trade. That was for January of 2026. I wonder if those were a closing order there, though. 800K on that. Wow.
Tencent, is that for gate based? Because what I'm getting at is that we don't need to get there before money flows into quantum. We just need. I mean, we're kind of at the beginning of quantum annealing, and that might end up being enough for people to get excited to throw trillions at it. They're already throwing billions at it. So even if that's true, that it's not going to end up being of much use, it might not matter because the sentiment around it is causing money to flow into these names. So we'll trade that. We're gonna trade the sentiment.
Pete here, outside of the Tesla rumor about 10.7, residential AC heat pump on the energy side of the house. I'd give it about a 2% chance. I think it's the cheaper Model Y, which everyone knows about. Okay, so you think the announcement is going to be regarding the cheaper Model Y as opposed to what sounds like an AC heat pump? Good to see you again, Pete. Good morning.
It's fun to speculate about what Tesla's going to say.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. There's a lot of people that like trading it. So
I love the ideas. Watch CRML. If we lose VWAP, then I think that could be concerning. If it loses 1240, then I think it's going to go down to 11. Yeah. Zach, I'm seeing some double tops too. Jay, that sentiment could change on a dime. It hasn't changed for AI yet. It could be. We could enter another bubble with quantum.
And we've seen sentiment change very quickly before. Yeah. We would be no surprise to that. Yeah.
GEV is going down and trading sideways. Robots are coming. Absolutely, robots are coming. Absolutely, they are. Orbs just had a nice breakout move over 10 or 950. Fantastic.
Oh my God, Dan Ives just keeps winning.
Did this have news? What is going on here? Because that's okay. So looks like there was some news. Announces total crypto cash holdings of 13.4 billion. That's a lot less than its market cap. So
that's for Bitmine too. See, BM&R.
I'm sorry, you're right.
No. But the news is tagged to both. The news is tagged to both this and Orbs. So I just, and here we go. So BM&R, this did actually make 61 now. Like I said, I was just kind of looking at the chart here. The chart looks pretty good on this. Looks like this is rolling higher here.
Yeah, Brian, it's crazy, right? The government shut down, delaying economic data. Let's go ahead and buy it.
Well, they can't give us bad news if it's delayed.
Right.
So
let's just put the blinders on and just keep on buying.
I'm just being a jerk. That's all.
It's funny. It's funny. Just, it's not funny if anybody's, getting taken out behind the woodshed on this, but, I don't think anybody is. I think we're all.
So this is a funny tweet. Here, I'm going to share this tweet. Hang on a sec. Okay. Let me cue these up. Actually, I'm going to do both tweets so the circle can now be complete, because I did send this to 13. So I actually have this tweet saved here. All right. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. Sorry. I know I'm smirking. You guys are like, this is stupid.
All right. Here, to 13.
So real quickly, regarding some of the quantum stuff that's going on right now, I'm just going to draw you a picture, some of the stuff that happened over the weekend. This is the tweet in question. Jay had asked earlier if you guys saw tweets of the different quantum stocks and their headquarters are being posted around. This is literally a Google Street View of Rigetti's headquarters. It looks like it's in some industrial strip mall. It's pathetic, frankly. Here's a overview, a map view of that same spot. This is basically saying this is the HQ of a $13 billion science fair project, getting serious deja vu here from when we exposed China Hustle. And he's citing Rigetti and some of these other high flyers, QBTS, IONQ. Well, this morning, first of all, you guys know what's happening here today, right? Because we've been kind of looking at this here today and some of these stocks. Here's just a reminder. Here's the chart for IONQ. Here's what it looks like intraday. It's just continuing to trade up. This tweet had no effect on it. But here's the best part. Jaguar Analytics just posted this now. Please post more pictures of the IONQ headquarters. Thank you. As it continues to rip multiple points.
Yeah,
I like how much critical mass this entire thing is reaching. I'm not going to lie.
Posting, so that guy posting the headquarters, that's just disingenuous, because here's the thing. There are multiple locations that Rigetti uses. Why didn't they, post the picture of their fabrication office in Fremont, California, or their global office in London, or the other office they have in Australia? You know why? It's probably because that guy's short and he can't understand why he's getting his ass handed to him, and he's trying to encourage people to get this thing to go down. He's getting his ass handed to him. And
here we go.
I think he's giving you CNN levels of news. That guy.
13 day trader. I can go scope that out. It's only an hour away from me. Maybe we can get our own non-biased.
That is the actual image of the building.
You're just saying that you're just saying that that's selectively picked to show. I gotcha. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Don't look at all this other stuff over here. Look at the thing I'm talking about. So, because it would break his case.
Well, you know what we should do? We should Google Earth those other spots and see what they look like.
Please do.
Fremont is even closer. Day trader.
I already gave you the addresses in Slack.
Okay, day trader. We're not trying to give you homework here, but if you volunteer, that'll probably happen. Just saying.
Yep, Sideshow, thank you for pointing that out. ONMD is making its way up towards that 285 level I was talking about. There's a seller on the way at 260. We did get a print at 265, but it looks like this momentum's taking it up to that next resistance area at 285. Yeah, I know Martin Shkreli's been shorting and posting stuff. I wouldn't trust that guy. I mean, just looking what he went to prison last time for. You're going to trust that guy? Have fun. Have fun. And by the way, Rigetti's incorporated in Delaware.
They all are, aren't they?
Well, I think the reason they have their headquarters out there is because of the accessibility to all this talent and capital for venture capital for technologies. But they have that Fab 1 location in Fremont, and go ahead and check that out. Absolutely. Get back to us. I'm not saying that I think Rigetti's worth every penny that it's trading right now. I think these names are back in. It's a bot channel.
Look at this ONMD. Whoever was trading this one, congrats. This was another big winner here.
Thank you for that, Tenzin. That's hilarious. He's a bot. Yeah. He's a real person, but if there's like an account on there and on X that's posting and it's showing bot-like activities, maybe. Well, it's because they get the courts over in Delaware are quite business friendly.
Yeah, friendly, especially to small business, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm. So there's a real benefit to being.
Oh, come on. I'm getting so much call flow here. I can't even click on AMD. AMD, by the way, this is curling back up to the VWAP. I know we talked about some of those phantom wicks there. AMD curling back. I actually am seeing some more call flow here. Hey, look, more. Don't stop now. More call flow on ETHA as well.
This is so funny. It's a funny day. It really is. It's just a funny day. Hey, awesome. Sorry.
Test saying, lol, now we're doxing quantum locations. To be clear, the address is publicly available.
Yes.
I would not, if that was a dox attempt, I would not have shared the tweet. I will not participate in any of that. And the other thing is that this is not a new thing for people that are kind of looking into market phenomenon. This is exactly what happened with the pot companies. People Google Earthed them. They Google Street Viewed them. They looked at Tilray was in like the back of a shack. Like this is not a new thing. This has happened before.
All right. ONMD. The high of the session is 284. So right there at the resistance level. Might get a little bit of a backing off, but if this continues more, we have that psych level of $3. But the next resistance area that I have marked off here is 320. Yep, thank you, ET3. That's excellent. Excellent.
I'm up 50% so far in ONMD. Let's go, Trout Bum. Let's go. Don't give those gains back, by the way. SOPA was another one that you folks were mentioning. How did that end up working out?
SOPA didn't. Well, you know, it's still up over 100% for the day, but it couldn't get above that 350 area. It might go for another test of that 350 area pretty soon if we get another close or two above the VWAP here on the 5-minute chart. It's trying to work its way through some consolidation from the pre-market, but if it does get that volume to kick in here, 350 is going to be that resistance area, and if we get through that, $4 is next. NAC has some call flow too. Excellent. Let's take a look. I almost said it like Zoidberg. Excellent. I
told you folks we were going to have a good week this week, and I told you it started on Monday.
What's nice about NAC is that we are kind of compressing into a bit of a wedge here. So, you just need that volume component, and maybe we'll get that later on today, but it is trading beneath VWAP. If this comes down, there is support down around 150, and, not just from sideways consolidation, but also from the 65 EMA. So that would be a support area I'd be looking at if NAC does come back in. But, volume has kind of left the market for the morning. Might come back later on this afternoon. Keep in mind, we do have the Asian markets closed. So there's going to be some a lack of foreign participation in our markets this week.
AIP, this is more new highs here. So this did print some new highs since we talked about it before.
Zach, that's 100% true. And that's exactly what happened with the last downside move that it had. Yes, the whole thing for NAC right now hinges on reversing the EPA's veto, and there's another issue with the Army Corps of Engineers that they have to clear as well. But the EPA veto is the big one. Once that's cleared and they're allowed to proceed beyond that, I think you're going to see a lot of inflow into this one. I think this will run. 4-hour chart doesn't look good on Apple's. Is Tenzin? You want to look at that one?
Yeah, remember, Tenzin hit a day trade. Here's a nice little reversal out of the open on Apple. Here's what it looked like. It was the 256 that was the buy spot down there. Here's the 4-hour chart.
Apple faces probe in France over voice recordings made by Siri. That doesn't sound very encouraging. Anyway, Let's see. Here.
This Apple chart to me, this, especially looking at the 4-hour here, this just looks like it's kind of running into some resistance, but it sure looks like it's going to test 260.
Yeah, we did get a golden cross last month. You know, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if there was some downside, but it does look like it's going to continue higher if it doesn't do it right away eventually. It's just that, you know, we are coming up to these all-time highs here. Did we already hit this, by the way? Let me see here.
PayPal at the highs. Real quick here, before I run out of time, 13. What do you think Tesla's announcement tomorrow will be? 42% of you said something else. 39% of you said the more affordable model. 11% of you said a Roadster refresh. And 8% of you talked about a new GPU. So it looks like the 42%, that's where I would classify the Archer news that you talked about. Looks like that's the case. Michelle, take care. See you tomorrow. I won't be late tomorrow. Okay, no problem.
Everybody.
Thankfully, I don't take attendance, Michelle. And Kevin, take care of yourself. All right, 13, what time are we at?
We're right at the end there.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap it.
Folks know, hey, on your way out, make sure you hit that like. We had a great time trading with you.
Yes, we
want
did.
to do it again tomorrow. This has been absolutely fantastic. I appreciate all the different pieces of information that everybody has been providing. Too many to shout out, but you know who you are. If I talked to you and we engaged with some discussion, it was great. I had a great time talking about it. Please come back tomorrow so we can have some more discussion. Folks, it is time for me to go. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Stay safe. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, 13. Now, I'd like to reiterate something 13 just talked about. It is impressive. The more we do this, the more and more the chat participates. Tidbits of information, setups, trading ideas, what's happening in there. Keep that going. That's how we continue to build something really special here. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. More playoff baseball and some football